The following is a special presentation of Raycom Sports, home to regional college football and basketball.
By that head! Tricked out truck kid running boards, black lit, king cab, bass tube, stoplight, boom boom. 5 days, all week, 2 jobs, so he can bob that head every Saturday. Got the windows rolled down, the team's in town. ACC football is ready to play. Yeah, turn it up to 10. Hey, y'all join in. Come on, let the party begin. Let's do it again. Bob that head. Bob that head. Oh, every Saturday. Bob that head. Bob that ACC football.
Hey y'all, we're Rascal Flatts.
And it's time for some ACC football, baby. Right here on Raycom Sports.
It's that time of year in college football when longtime rivalries are renewed and the hottest ticket in town is the one that gets you into the old ball game. It's also a time when seniors put the uniform on for the final time at home. These are the two emotions that are focal points today in Chapel Hill as the North Carolina Tar Heels play host to the Wolfpack from NC State. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kenan Stadium. Would somebody please control their destiny in the ACC? North Carolina had that opportunity last week. A win at Maryland and win a couple more. They're the Coastal Division champs, but they lost. Here are the standings. Georgia Tech with the big win over Miami Thursday. That means Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Virginia now the leaders of the pack when it comes to getting this division title. North Carolina, however, needs some help, and it starts with a win today over their rival NC State. Virginia and Virginia Tech have to lose as well. They play each other next week. Joined now in the broadcast booth by my partner, the former Clemson Tiger and Washington Redskin, Jeff Bostic. Okay, North Carolina, they need this game, and they do it with their original starting quarterback, TJ Yates.
TJ Yates is back in the starting lineup for the first time in 9 weeks. Had great numbers before breaking his ankle against Virginia Tech, a game that he left that they were leading 17-3. You see his numbers: 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 60% completion ratio. The great thing for that, you've got the guy back at the helm that's led your team early in the season, and you hope that he doesn't have very many rushes. We talk about keys to this game, the Toyota keys to the game. If you're NC State, North Carolina, Keem Nicks, they are a big play team, limit the big plays. If you're North Carolina, take care of the football. And the 7 wins you have, you got a 16+ ratio on turnovers. On the 3 games you've lost, it's a -6. Take care of the football. Let's see what happens. Exciting afternoon.
All right, Scott Przwanski joins us with the NC State perspective as we get you ready for the 98th meeting between the Wolfpack and the Tar Heels.
ACC football is being brought to you by Wachovia, by Progress Energy, by Hyundai, by Hampton Hotel, by Carrabba's Italian Grill, and by the new AT&T.
The Wolfpack of NC State ready to invade Kenan Stadium. A round of boos in white and blue here to greet them as they come here to Kenan Stadium. And the Pack come in on a certain roll. They've got an extra bounce in their step right now, playing with a lot of confidence. They have won 2 straight ball games. Why are they playing better? All you need to do is take a look at the difference between the first 5 games of the season and the last 5 games they played. points production, total yards, rushing yards, passing yards, pretty much across the board. They are getting better and better production offensively. And the main reason why, this guy, Russell Wilson, he's back from his injury and he's got a lot of confidence. He's making great decisions with the football and is really leading this team. Passing 175 straight completions without an interception. That's tops in the country right now. He's also doing it on the ground with his legs. He's a real threat to run the football, and that's something Carolina really concerned about here today. Defensively, well, heck, if NC State doesn't have the football with Russell Wilson doing the job on defense, they are going to lean on number 56, the linebacker, Nate Irving, also back from an injury. The last 2 ball games, 21 tackles for number 56 in white and red. The kickoff from Kenan Stadium, red and white, blue and white, ready to do battle, and it's all coming up straight ahead.
Here are the Thunderbirds passing over Kenan Stadium as the pageantry continues in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The 98th meeting between the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack. NC State won the toss. They deferred. So North Carolina will start on offense. Pearson will kick off for NC State. And back deeper, Greg Little and Johnny White. Sellout crowd on hand. This one's underway. And you don't want to kick it out of bounds to start the game, and that's what just happened. So there's the flag, and the ball will come out to the 40-yard line. ACC football presented in high definition. We're available by MFS Investment Management, a diverse range of products so advisors can choose what fits. Well, I guess there's no doubt Butch Davis will take the ball to 40, eh?
Great field position for the North Carolina offense, and for all the North Carolina fans, it's good to see TJ Yates back in the starting lineup, first start in 9 weeks.
Our referee today is Tom Zamorski. He's talking things over with his linesman and field judge. I don't know what the debate is here because the ball went out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Oh, there are 2 flags? 2 flags on the play. Okay, so we think there's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as well.
And if we're not careful, it's going to be delay of game on the officials.
Well, that Notre Dame game they had in here, let me tell you something. There was a lot of things going on upstairs during that game.
Against the team. After the play, personal foul, number 49, the receiving team. We'll penalize 15 yards from the 40-yard line, first down.
So the penalty was on Ryan Taylor of North Carolina. So this will negate good field position to start at the 40-yard line. But here comes this North Carolina offense on the field, and there is TJ Yates. He got hurt in the Virginia Tech game. You can see his numbers for the season. And not a big runner. If he's going to scramble, he's going to throw the football downfield. First and 10, North Carolina at the 25-yard line. Sean Drone with room to run. And out of bounds near the 44-yard line. The sophomore from Tarboro, North Carolina, finally forced out of bounds by Clem Johnson.
And Drones gets a great block from his big right tackle, Garrett Reynolds. And this is one thing that I learned yesterday. Why did Sean Drones go to the Butch Davis and talk about playing tailback? Kelvin Bryant, a North Carolina great, was telling everybody within the North Carolina organization, this kid's a running back. Well, guess what? He was right.
Doesn't pay to ask, does it? That was a 20-yard run to the 45-yard line. First and 10, Tar Heels. Once again, it's Drone. Tripped up and dropped at the 48-yard line. Here's the starting lineup for North Carolina. Of course, we've already seen TJ Yates. Here are the wide receivers. We'll be keeping an eye on the numbers for Akeem Hicks, who has been a marvelous receiver since the injury to Brandon Tate. And there's the rest of the running backs and receivers. Here's the offensive line. Garrett Reynolds. He is a candidate for the Lombardi Award, his 30th start in a North Carolina jersey. He's the right tackle. Second down, 6 yards to go for the Tar Heels. And that pass high, Cooter Arnold, the intended receiver, over his head, and it'll be 3rd down coming up. Here's the North Carolina State starting defensive unit. And there's the guy that John Shoup, the offensive coordinator for North Carolina, talked about yesterday. They got to keep an eye on this guy, Willie Young. This is a team with only 18 sacks. Young's got 4.5 of those. Irving has been the emotional leader of this defense, out with injuries, but back playing again. And here's the secondary with 10 interceptions. Jeremy Gray with 2 of those.
And they're opting to rush 3.
3rd down and 6. Draw play, drone, and does not get the 1st down. They have him stopped about 2 yards shy. And an interesting call on 3rd down and 6 as they run the running back right up the gut. So North Carolina will send the punting unit on.
And Robbie Leonard, the strong side linebacker, that is a fumble. That is a fumble. And if you're Tom O'Brien, you should review this play.
Nothing from the officials yet. We've had no, and all plays are reviewed up in the booth, and they are looking at it, and that's why this play has been blown dead. So
talk about football being a game of inches. This is a game of seconds. I'll be shocked if the officiating crew doesn't reverse this call.
Butch Davis not real happy about it. Here it is again.
Watch the knee. Tell me when the knee makes contact and when the ball comes loose. It's already loose right there. That is a fumble. Great call by Tom O'Brien.
All right, now here's my question. If they blew the play dead, even though North Carolina State picks up the football, will they change this call?
If they had blown it dead, they would probably tell Tom O'Brien it is not reviewable.
So there's the man of the hour, Tom Zaborski.
And a lot of people don't like the review process for one simple reason: it takes too long. I am a guy that believes that football, you need to get it right, because at the college level, you only have 11 or 12 games, and if you have an officiating call that loses you a football game, and guess what? You come up 1 game short of winning your division in football or your conference championship, that is devastating.
Tom O'Brien and Butch Davis, the opposing coaches, of course, just in their 2nd year in this rivalry. Davis, with a lot of experience in the National Football League and also in the college ranks, had great success at Miami. And I got the feeling from both these coaches, O'Brien has a little bit more into this rivalry than Butch Davis does. I think North Carolina looks at this. This is another game, but we've got bigger things we want to do, including winning the Coastal Division. You talked to Tom O'Brien this week, and this is all about the rivalry, a big game against North Carolina.
And the one thing he talked about as we look at a review of this fumble, which I think is going to overturn this call, right there, we see that the ball is clearly out before his knee hits the ground. I don't know what takes so long up in the booth. I can see it clearly. How about you, Bill?
You know what? I've been doing this so long. I've seen so many things in the booth.
Were there leather helmets back then?
No, but and there wasn't. I don't think there was television back when I never assume anything when I'm looking at replays. Here's our call.
After review, there was a fumble recovered by NC State. It will be 1st and 10 on the 47-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 13:47.
So one of your keys to this game, protecting the football, and you know what these numbers are for North Carolina and NC State here as we take a look at their takeaways this year. But when Carolina's been good, they haven't been turning it over.
And exactly, this is not the way Butch Davis, you had an opportunity to take possession at the 40-yard line, and you got a 15-yard penalty that takes you back to the 25.
Andre Brown will be the running back for quarterback Russell Wilson, the redshirt freshman. And here's Brown trying to weave through traffic, and that's going to be stopped after a gain of a couple of yards on the play. And once again, Russell Wilson, who started the season against South Carolina and suffered a concussion in that game, been in and out of the lineup, and Wilson is now back in. There he is, number 16, 1,270 yards passing this year. Look at that, 12 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
And understand, he's a redshirt freshman. Redshirt freshman.
And he can run the football as well. And here comes a reverse. T.J. Graham. Couple of blockers in front. Nice cutback move. And down at the North Carolina 48-yard line. Here's the starting lineup for North Carolina State. We've seen the quarterback. Here are the key people. Owen Spencer has become a big-time receiver. Had a big game earlier this year against Boston College. Andre Brown, the starting running back. Jamel Eugene will see some action today as well. John Beddix, part of this offensive line for 3 years, a defensive lineman. They made him an offensive lineman this year, and he's been a good one at left guard. And the big down in any range of football that you play is third down, and here it is, third down for NC State. Got a wide open receiver and out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and we just talked about him. Owen Spencer hauls it in, his 25th catch of the year, and a gain of 18 and a Wolfpack first down.
When you look at Russell Wilson, maturity beyond years, redshirt freshman, sits in the pocket, delivers the strike to Owen Spencer, 25th catch of the year.
Here are his numbers, 19.7 average, so when he's catching the football, he's picking up big chunks of yardage. Brown's the tailback, and Brown has the football and stopped at the 26-yard line. Here's North Carolina's defense. And we'll start with the guys up front. Marvin Austin also has an interception, returned for a touchdown this year. Robert Quinn has been a great story, the freshman. Mark Pascal, he's the little engine that could, and he's the emotional and physical leader of this North Carolina defense out of Charlotte. And Goddard, of course, 6 interceptions, and he's sealed a couple of big games, big victories with turnovers on the final play. Wilson will keep it himself, and he's just shy of the first down at the 20-yard line, and Mark Pascal makes the tackle. Jeff, this is the one thing that they talked about defensively when you're looking at Wilson. You want to keep him in the pocket, but you also got to keep an eye on the guy because he'll take off.
And the one thing I did learn after watching the North Carolina-Maryland game, the 2 defensive tackles for the University of North Carolina, Austin and Thomas, they did not have their best game last week. Maryland controlled the line of scrimmage and controlled the clock. They have to step up this afternoon.
Third down, inches on. Wilson dropped the football, now trying to turn outside, and North Carolina stops him. It'll be fourth down. Robert Quinn makes the stop. Bernie helped out. And the field goal unit will come on for the Wolfpack.
And that is frustrating if you're Tom O'Brien. We talked about the youth of the quarterback. Russell Wilson, a redshirt freshman. The first thing you have to take advantage of is get the snap from center, then run the play. That's just a sign of immaturity. Looked like a good snap from the center, Ted Larson.
Josh Chakowski, who has hit 10 of 12 field goals this year, his longest 41. This will be a 40-yard try. And I believe he's got the wind at his back. And this is going to miss left. So the turnover forced by the Wolfpack defense. The offense drives inside the 20-yard line, but they come up empty. Early here in the first quarter in Chapel Hill, no score. Scoreless in the early going here in Chapel Hill. S&K Menswear is the official wardrobe provider for our ACC football broadcast team. S&K Menswear, what are you wearing? Each team with a possession, no points in our game. And North Carolina starts at their 23. First down and 10. Sean Drone is the running back. I formation. And here comes Drone. And he's not going much of anywhere. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Ray Michelle, the redshirt junior from Fort Myers, Florida. And they're saying it's another fumble. And NC State says they've got it. Nothing from the officials, yet they do. Second turnover in a row by Drone. And this time, the Wolfpack will take over deep in Tar Heel territory. Michelle came up with the ball.
We talked about it in the open. What is the key for the University of North Carolina? Take care of the football. We're only about 5 minutes and 15 seconds into this football game. 2 fumbles. North Carolina State has to take advantage of these opportunities. Good job of stripping the ball by Robbie Leonard.
Jamel Eugene is now the running back to the right of the quarterback, Russell Wilson, who wants to pass on first down. He's got Eugene there. Diving catch. Incomplete at the goal line. Missed opportunity there. Bruce Carter with the coverage of the Tar Heels.
You'd like to get a little bit better effort out of your running back. That's got to be a catch. Perfect throw by the young quarterback. Hits him in the hands. Look at his protection. If you give this kid this type of time, you got to catch that football. Jamel Eugene, you didn't do your quarterback any favor there.
2nd and 10 at the North Carolina 23-yard line. Yeah, we got motion on the right side of that offensive line, and this will go against NC State.
Got the big.
Ball starts. Number 50 the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
McCullough, the big 6'7", 330 pounds. Where do they get these guys from? I mean, we were the Hogs, but what are these guys? The Goliaths? What do you feed these type of guys? Anything they want.
It's amazing the size of the players. I mean, if you go through the generations, the 60s through now, and look at who played the game, it's unbelievable.
What does the next decade hold?
Robots like on the Jetsons, remember? 2nd and 15. Wilson's going to run it and tackled at the 24-yard line. Good shoestring tackle by Robert Quinn, the freshman out of Ladson, South Carolina.
And I like what Everett Withers, the defensive coordinator, coming with a blitz, forcing the quarterback to make a play. And Quinn, number 42, making the tackle. NC State unable to take care of advantages right now, facing a 3rd and 12.
You see Quinn's numbers, and what a marvelous story. In his senior year in high school, he had to have brain surgery because he had a tumor that was building up fluid in his brain. 5-hour emergency surgery. They said, your athletic career is over. And here he is. 3rd and about 11. Good protection for Wilson. Now he's hit as he lets it go. Tipped in the air and finally caught. This is Williams. And he fights out of bounds at the 17-yard line, about 5 shy of a first down. Nearly picked off. And then a good concentration by Jarvis Williams to haul it in. And it looks like NC State should be trying a field goal here. And here comes that unit on again. They missed earlier from 40 yards out.
The ball hits Pascal in a bad place, right in the hands. And what is Jarvis Williams right on the money? But if you're NC State and you're Tom O'Brien, you do not feel fulfilled right now. 2 turnovers, 2 fumble recoveries, and you're hoping your field goal kicker makes a 34-yarder to have a 3-0 lead.
34-yard field goal. This time from the right hash. And we've got a flag on the play. The kick, this is not going to count. It's going to be delay a game against NC State, and that's probably good for the Wolfpack.
Against the offense.
That was an ugly kick. That was as ugly a kick as I've seen in years. Good hold. Look how low it is blocked.
So North Carolina in the early going, 2 fumbles. NC State now, 2 great opportunities near the red zone. Missed 1 field goal opportunity. This will be a 39-yarder by Josh Chakowski. Pearson's the holder. This one's up, and this one's good. So the Wolfpack get a bit of a break because of the delay of game call on a field goal that was blocked. They take advantage and put 3 on the board. 3-0, first quarter here in Chapel Hill. We're back after a word from your local stations. Today's game is brought to you in part by Allstate. NC State on the board with a 39-yard Chakowski field goal. They lead the Tar Heels in this first quarter. And now Pearson will kick off again for the Wolfpack. And here comes Greg Little. And Little carrying 3 or 4 Wolfpack players. Nice little run back up to the 31-yard line. 28 yards on that return.
North Carolina State defense causing 2 fumbles. Unfortunately, a missed field goal from 37 yards. Yet another fumble, folks. North Carolina not taking care of the football. But NC State, Bill, with only a 3-0 lead, can't feel satisfied with the way this game has gone and the opportunities they've been given.
Tom O'Brien, so far okay, not great, but he's got the lead. And in at running back, Ryan Houston for the Tar Heels. Yates back to throw. Nice pass up to the 42-yard line. Brooks Foster on the receiving end, and that'll be a North Carolina first down. Pick up at 12 on the play. Foster, a junior from Boiling Springs, South Carolina.
And the thing we talked about with the offensive coordinator in North Carolina, John Shope, you know, when you've got a quarterback or any position that has been out to injury for a long extended period of time, it's not really the rust, it's how quickly do you come up to the speed of the game. TJ Yates, no problem so far.
Houston remains the running back. He's normally been their short yardage and goal line guy, but with the 2 drone fumbles, maybe more of him today, or at least he gets a look here and nothing happening as he tries to turn it out to the right. Clem Johnson with the stop for the Wolfpack.
You know, you talk about the NC State program and what has happened the last few weeks. I liked it 3 weeks ago when Mike Archer, their defensive coordinator, basically called the football team out and the entire coaching staff, saying the North Carolina State Wolfpack are the laughing stock of the ACC. And he said, I include our coaching staff in there too. What have they done? 2 straight victories.
Second and 10, play action to Houston. They swing it out far sideline. A lot of running room for Rome, and he's got a first down and more to the 43-yard line of NC State. Once again, Johnson makes the tackle. Nice call to Bobby Rome out in that right flat in a huge game.
Bobby Rome is what you love about college football. 5'11", 245 pounds, does the dirty work. TJ Yates rewards him with a pass. Shows he can catch the ball and run a little bit also.
Tar Heels on the march into North Carolina State territory at the 43-yard line. Houston, quick hitter, big hole, and he slips and goes down. That could have been maybe 2-3 more yards because he would have been going forward. It's a pickup of 6, and it'll be 2nd and 4, and you can see his frustration there.
You wonder what he was thinking. Was it he saw a cut lane, or did he see Nate Irving? Did you see who was there to make the tackle? I'm not going there.
A few pats on the helmet for him. That's okay. You got a 6. That's not bad. Get a 6 every carry. We'll take that. Houston again. Big sweep to the right. And a first down at the 32-yard line. So Ryan Houston only had 57 carries all season long. He does have 7 touchdown runs. And that's good for 5 and a first down. Fans, get your cell phones ready. Time for our interactive feature called the Alltel Text of War. We want your answer to this question. Which division is stronger, the Atlantic or the Coastal? Text your answer A1 or A2 to 55333. We'll update the results later in the half. Back to throw. Big rush, sack at the 39-yard line. They don't have a lot of sacks, 18 coming into the game, but a loss of 7 there. And TJ Yates not with a lot of time to throw, and Willie Young brought him to the turf.
This was the guy that John Shoop, the offensive coordinator from North Carolina, was worried about all week long. You know, 243-pound defensive end. This kid broke the NC State record for squat, 680 pounds. That's very impressive.
I broke the record for not knowing squat. Never mind.
That's a personal problem.
2nd and 17. Yates, little dump off to Houston. He fumbled the football. Will that be a catch? I don't hear a whistle. Looks like it could be another turnover. No, the linesman coming over saying incomplete pass. DeAndre Morgan lit up the running back as he made the catch. No catch. It'll be 3rd down.
And Butch Davis must have had an apple in the middle of his neck right there, thinking what else can happen to our offense. Great stick by the NC State defense. And right on the time, Marcus Kuhn, 91, the defensive end, would have recovered that ball.
Butch Davis going, let's get through this first quarter. He's done a great job, however, to be in this position this late in the season in his 2nd year. Drone is back in at running back. And it's third down and a bunch. Deep ball, far sideline, tipped away. Good defensive play by Johnson in the secondary. And it'll be fourth down. The pass intended for Hakeem Nicks.
This is timing by number 19, J.C. Neal. Breaks the ball up at the last second. We talked about the big plays that North Carolina relies on offensively. This off of play action. You know, they're taking their shots downfield. I like the call by Butch Davis and his staff.
Terrence Brown will do the punting for North Carolina. T.J. Graham awaits the kick. Here's where you want to pooch it and get it inside the 10-yard line. Great special teams coverage down at the 2-yard line. A 37-yard punt. And great play by Matt Merletti. Special teamer got down there in a hurry, and NC State stuck deep in their own territory. They're going to mark it at the 3-yard line. Timeout on the field, 3-0 NC State. We're in the first quarter in Chapel Hill. There's our score in the first quarter here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And here is a little bit of a runoff left tackle by Andre Brown, and they got him stopped at the 4-yard line. Pickup of 1 on the play. Second down coming up.
And you hate to say that this is a big series for the North Carolina State offense, but you need to get 1 or 2 first downs just to change the field position. This is where I would really lay it on Russell Wilson's legs to get me a first down.
Wilson this year, 234 yards running the football. He has missed some games because of the concussion. Our first and 10 line brought to you by SeatExchange.com, the official ticket exchange partner of the ACC. And here is Brown again with the handoff to the 7-yard line where Mark Pascal makes the stop. A pickup of 3. So now third down, fairly long coming up for the Wolfpack offense. And Jeff, when you're an offensive player and you're this deep in your own territory, you just don't want to screw it up here and turn it over.
Yeah, the thing you want to do is take a safe, short pass. You know, don't do anything crazy. Just try and move the chains. And as we know, the young quarterback, Mr. Wilson's been pretty good protecting the ball.
Yes, he has. Passing formation, shotgun. Third down, about 6. Wilson throws, upfield is tight end Hill. Nice cutback move, and I think he's got the first down just past the 13-yard line. Pascal makes the tackle.
Did you see me over here running? You know, Russell Wilson's in the pocket. The left guard collapses Marvin Austin. He had a big lane to run. Stays in the pocket, shows poise for a young quarterback, and delivers a strike. More importantly, moves the chains and keeps NC State from giving North Carolina great field position.
Got 7 on the play, first down. Inside of 3 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Brown running left and a few yards to the 17-yard line. Jeff, this has been, in talking with Tom O'Brien and his staff, this team is gaining in confidence because they're getting people back. Guy like Hill, who just caught that pass for the first down, he's been banged up. Their quarterback's been hurt. Their running backs, they're still waiting on people to get healthy. And defensively, we already talked about some of those guys coming back. When these guys are healthy, they gain in confidence.
Tom O'Brien told us early in the week, NC State has had injuries that have cost players 70 games. 70. That is a lot of games missed due to injury.
Little safe draw, handoff up the middle. Andre Brown running hard and shy of the first down by about a yard to the 23, where Quan Sturdivant makes the tackle. North Carolina gives up 143 yards on the ground defensively, 204 in the air, 347 yards. And you heard Scott in our pregame comments talk about this running game for NC State, which has been really good. Their last 4 games, they're averaging 154 yards on the ground.
And this is what Maryland did to North Carolina last week. Ran the ball between the tackles, moved the chains, controlled the clock.
Third down 1. And it's Brown, and he's hit, but he pulls his way forward, and he should have the first down. What a great second effort by Andre Brown, who was just rocked as he hit the line of scrimmage.
And it looked to me like Cam Thomas was the first person to hit him. What great second effort. Andre Brown looks like he's got the first down, and he does. Keeps those big, strong legs moving. 6 foot, 228-pound senior.
And he'll get a breather.
Probably needs one.
And Jamel Eugene will be the running back for Russell Wilson, working out of the gun. And here's Eugene. And Pascal sticks him at the line of scrimmage. Forward progress to the 26-yard line, so give him one. And it was Jamel Eugene last year who had a huge game against the Tar Heels in the North Carolina State win. 32 carries, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that dramatic win. Tom O'Brien calls him the Energizer Bunny. Second down, Wilson wants to throw off the fingertips of T.J. Graham. It'll be 3rd and long.
That's one of the footballs that Russell Wilson would like to have back. He had plenty of time. It just got away from him a little bit high. The good thing that North Carolina State has done, taking the ball so deep in their own end of the field, they've moved it out and gained 20, 25 yards. At least, if you don't convert on 3rd down, you don't give North Carolina great field position.
That was Jarvis Williams who was the intended receiver. So now it's 3rd down, long, coming up, about 9 to go for a first down for NC State. We'll see if North Carolina brings some heat on defense, and here they come. Back to throw. Wilson gets rid of the football. Williams, a great catch! Breaks free at the 30-yard line, and he's horse-collared from behind at the 19. Jarvis Williams with a huge catch for the Wolfpack, and a first down at the 19.
What a great job by the blitz pickup by the running back. The quarterback stepping up in the pocket. What a throw and what a catch. Number 5, Jarvis Williams, adjusting to the ball when it's in the air. Great throw, great catch. And I'll tell you something, this Russell Wilson, he's special.
And that was Jordan Hemby, the corner on that side, who just got turned the wrong way. And a 55-yard pass play gets NC State down to the 19 as we've come to the end of the first quarter of play in Chapel Hill. A good one so far. We've had some turnovers. We've got a field goal, and it's NC State leading 3-0. Back in Chapel Hill, start of the second quarter with North Carolina State leading North Carolina 3-0. And the 10th play of this Wolfpack drive at the 19 of North Carolina, first down and 10. Andre Brown back in the game, takes the handoff and gets a couple of yards. And a little John after the play as well. But,
you know, we talked early in the pregame about everything that North Carolina had to play for. NC State still can get bowl eligible. We'll look at the O'Reilly offensive red zone.
Yep. Better parts, better prices every day. As we look at the O'Reilly Auto Parts red zone, you can see their numbers this season. Russell Wilson out of the shotgun, pumps, fires at the goal line. It'll be a touchdown for North Carolina State. George Bryan, the tight end, 17 yards. He got popped right at the goal line, held onto the football, and the Wolfpack are on top, 9-0.
Great delivery by Russell Wilson. His offensive line is doing a tremendous job protecting him. George Bryan, the freshman, he gets rocked at the goal line, holds on to the football. You know what? This is exactly the way Tom O'Brien and the NC State coaching staff wanted this game to start.
Bryan's 4th touchdown catch. He had a big one last week in the Wake Forest game.
Wonder if he knows what day it is.
You're right. Who am I blocking? Just take the blue jersey. Chakowski's extra point try is up, and he's got it.
Listen how quiet it is.
I was just going to say, it has gotten very quiet here at Kenan Stadium. And remember, where did this drive start? At the 3-yard line. North Carolina State 10-0. There's our score, and there's Russell Wilson, who completed a 97-yard drive for the first touchdown of our game. And here's our AT&T first quarter stats. You can see the numbers there. Get a behind-the-scenes look at some of your favorite teams and players at attblueroom.com/sports. And a nice return by Johnny White up the near sideline. And once again, there's the numbers. Rushing yards the same. You can see the passing yards. Turnovers, a big story here. Let's go down on the sidelines to Scott.
Yeah, we've got Brandon Tate with us. Brandon Tate was injured in that Notre Dame game. This is his first game back. He's been rehabbing. First game he's been able to come back to the field. This is a tough one to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You know, it's senior night, but this is my first game back. I really want to be out there on the field right now, but unfortunately I had an injury, so I'm just over here cheering my guys on.
Brandon, of course, led the ACC in total yards before he was injured. As you look at what this North Carolina team's doing right now, I know it's killing you because you can't get out there and help, but how badly do they need to get something going, obviously, here offensively?
Oh, on offense, we already had 2 turnovers, so we just got to go out and try to match NC State's intensity, you know, because they come out ready to play. So I guess it's time for us to wake up and go out and make some big plays.
Well, Brandon will be roaming the sidelines, encouragement, trying to get these guys motivated and get some points on the board. Back upstairs.
Yeah, what a big loss there, but here we've got a face.
Against the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
The penalty is on DeAndre Morgan. So the pass play was out to Hakeem Nicks. So they got some good yardage on the play. They'll tack on the penalty, and just like that, North Carolina moves into NC State territory.
Going back to Brandon Tate, it's tough enough as a senior to realize you're playing your last game at home. But to be able to sit there on crutches and not be able to participate, even tougher.
Houston, the tailback in the I formation. And he's got the football. And carries a couple of Wolfpack tacklers to the 37-yard line. Willie Young makes the stop. We saw that throw out to Hakeem Nicks, and it's interesting when we were talking to John Shoup, the offensive coordinator for North Carolina. I said, when you lost Brandon Tate, this guy's numbers got pretty good. How is that happening when defenses are going to focus on this one guy? And he said, well, I learned in the pros when I was coaching the Bears. They had a receiver named Marty Booker, and Dick Duran said, hey, no catches at the half. What gives? And he says, well, they're doing this, this, and this. He goes, hey, you didn't answer my questions. No catches at the half. You got to get your guy the ball somewhere.
And we'll discuss that after this play.
All right, Drone is back in as the running back. Second down 6, and here's Drone with 2 fumbles today, trying to hold on, and he takes his team down to about the 34-yard line.
Getting back to that point, the one thing that John Shoup mentioned repeatedly yesterday, he learned a lot of offensive football from North Turner, the head coach at San Diego, when he worked under him with the Raiders. And what I basically gathered from him, the way you try and keep Brandon Tate's absence from affecting Hakeem Nicks, keep moving him around, put him in the slot, put him outside, put him in motion. Don't let defenses lock down on where he's going to be.
And that'll be Nicks at the bottom of your screen right now on 3rd down and about 4. Drone, nothing doing. Tackled by Willie Young. And a loss on the play, and it's 4th down. Young comes up big.
The number one thing that kills short yardage plays is penetration. And obviously John Shoup was concerned about Willie Young coming into this game. Great burst of quickness, gets into the backfield. Looks like North Carolina is going to opt to go for this on 4th down and 6. Gutsy call by Butch Davis.
Yeah, 4th down this year. They're 5 of 10 in 4th down conversions. But this is a 4th down and 6 yards to go from the NC State 37-yard line. Good protection by Yates. The throw, the catch, and a 1st down at the 30-yard line, hauled in by Brooks Foster. Butch Davis says, there you go. That's what I want to see. 7 yards.
You know what? I like the call by Butch Davis for one thing. It gets his football team knowing that he has confidence in them. TJ Yates making his first start in 9 weeks. You know what? Brooks Foster filling in for Brandon Tate. Almost dropped that football, caught it twice, but more importantly, gets the 1st down.
So the drive continues for the Tar Heels. A huge 4th down conversion. They're at the 30 of the Wolfpack. Pitch to Drone. Room to run. And stopped at the 24-yard line. 6 yards on the pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Watch what, hold it right there, run it back for me. You got to see this, folks. NC State, number 49, obviously the wrong number for North Carolina, I'm sorry. What a crackback block that they did on Willie Young. How do you take their best player out of the game? Crackback block, unbelievable.
2nd and 4, Drone again, and dives for a first down. They'll mark him inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. So Sean Drone, with a couple of fumbles early, now gets his team inside the red zone. 1st and 10, North Carolina.
See the number for Drone, 635 yards, 4.6 per carry. Started off slow. Has really been toting him up. One thing, start with the ball, finish with the ball.
All right, so the last play for some reason is under review. It was a run around the left end. So maybe he stepped out, where they're going to spot this football as to whether it's going to be a first down or not.
2 plays ago, the North Carolina offense used Brian Taylor to crack back on Willie Young. And this is the play that's under review to see where he went out of bounds. Looks like a clear first down.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't had a review since the first quarter. So they're looking at it again. We talked about the situation with North Carolina still in the Coastal Division race. A lot of scoreboard watching. Butch Davis knows he's got to win this game today and then take care of business next week when they travel to Duke. He needs some help along the way. He needs Virginia to lose a game and Virginia Tech to lose a game. Georgia Tech got everybody back into this thing on Thursday night with that big win over Miami. And Georgia Tech is now finished with their ACC schedule. But Butch Davis, in just his 2nd year, has an opportunity, still out there. He needs some help to win a division title.
And the one thing we talked to with Butch Davis.
First down.
So this counts. Review stands. The play stands on the field. 1st and 10 at the 19.
And the one thing we talked to with Butch Davis, you know, everybody's saying that the BCS shouldn't allow an ACC team to have a BCS game. Went back and looked at the power rankings of strength of schedule. There are 4 ACC teams in the top 10 in the country. The University of Virginia has the toughest schedule in America.
I believe this NC State group was 9th. First down, North Carolina at the 19. They're trailing 10-0. They need to get some points on the board. Yates is going to run it, and not far to the 18-yard line.
And that's one of the things when you broke an ankle or broke a leg, you see how tentative he was trying to run out of that pocket. You know, you don't forget that injury. You know, anybody that's played football long enough, you see the red zone numbers, and I'll let Bill handle that.
Yeah, that's a look at our O'Reilly Auto Parts red zone. Better parts, better prices every day. Just a scramble for one there. 2nd and 9. Drone takes the handoff, caught from behind, and nothing happened there. Good defense by NC State. 1 yard, loss of a yard.
We're perched very high up on top of Kenan Stadium, but I could hear those helmets clang from here. This NC State defense, it's amazing what 1 or 2 players does to a football team. Early in the year, Russell Wilson misses considerable time, and on the defensive side, Nate Irving missing considerable time. 2 of your leaders on your football team back in action. What a difference.
Brooks Foster out to the bottom of your screen. That's Nix, a slot at the top of your screen on 3rd down and long, North Carolina. Down the middle, Nix dives but can't hold on. Actually, that was Richard Quinn, number 89, the intended receiver, the tight end, incomplete. So now 4th down. But North Carolina will have a chance to put some points on the board as Kathy Barth comes on for a field goal try.
This looks like your typical North Carolina State game. Goes down to the last drive of the 4th quarter and somebody makes a play.
Well, last year's was a wild affair with NC State jumping up big. North Carolina came back with a couple of interception returns for a touchdown. 37-yard field goal try by Casey Barth. This one's up, look out, just inside the right upright. and it's good. Wind not a big factor here today, but it's a field goal for Butch Davis's team. They're on the board. North Carolina State leading 10-3. Back after a word from your local stations. Today's game is brought to you in part by Allstate. Kenan Stadium, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, bundled up today. And why not? I think, what were we in the 40s here today?
How bad was it yesterday?
Ooh, it was cold. It was cold. Somebody asked me what I got watching the walkthrough yesterday. I said frostbite. Here's the kickoff, taken by an up man, and this is Byers, and Byers to about the 25. So Russell Wilson will bring the offense back out onto the field. What do you buy for the chicken eater who has everything? Chick-fil-A gift cards and Chick-fil-A trays. Chick-fil-A trays perfect for game days, birthdays, and Mondays. Reloadable Chick-fil-A gift cards, a great gift for any occasion. And here's the nugget. The ACC, the only conference in NCAA football subdivision with 12 teams in contention to be bowl eligible. 8 already are bowl eligible. Wilson out of the gun, look for the quick out. Now he's going to keep the football and slide down and tackle at the 26-yard line by Mark Pascal. 1-yard scramble for the quarterback.
You know, we talked to Butch Davis yesterday about Mark Pascal. He says, well, he's not the fastest kid, but he studies and, you know, he tries to cheat a little bit here or there. He really recognizes formations. Didn't he just run down Russell Wilson? It's pretty fast, isn't he? Tell you what, I've got a lot of respect for Butch Davis. I played for the Redskins when he was with Jimmy Johnson and part of that defensive staff. Butch knows how to coach football.
Play action fake. Wilson trying to find somebody open. Now he's in trouble. Now he's just going to throw it away incomplete. He was shooting it for Owen Spencer, but that pass, he just wanted to make sure it got out of bounds. Out of town scoreboard, there you go. Now North Carolina paying attention to this score. Clemson on top of Virginia 10-0. If Virginia loses, that helps the Tar Heels, but they've got to win here today to stay in contention in the Coastal.
Did you notice how I circled the 10?
Right. Well, being a former Tiger, I can understand that.
It's been a frustrating year for a Tiger fan.
All right, the Wolfpack are 4 of 6 in third down conversions. They need 9 here. 3 wide receiver set near sideline. Big rush from the outside. Wilson avoids the rush, runs upfield. He's got the first down all the way out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Great scramble by Russell Wilson.
This is what you hate as a defensive player. Marvin Austin beats the left guard, trying to chase Russell Wilson down. Simply can't do it. We talked about it in the open. This guy can do it with his arm. He can buy time scrambling in the pocket, and he can also do it with his legs, and you saw it there. This kid is special, believe me.
And you also saw him huffing and puffing there. I have a sneaking suspicion he won't be scrambling this time, but you never know. Shotgun formation. 1st and 10, NC State at their 39. This is Jamel Eugene. Spins away from one tackler, but there's too many blue jerseys to bring him down. E.J. Wilson finishes him off. 2nd down and 9 coming up.
This is what you like to see in defensive football. Multiple helmets getting to the football. Everett Withers, the defensive coordinator, not happy with the way they played last week at Maryland. I particularly, after watching the game tape, their 2 defensive tackles had a long day.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by SeatExchange.com, the official ticket exchange partner of the ACC. Eugene again. Nice run off left tackle, and he's up to the 45-yard line. Deontay Williams with the tackle. That's a pickup of 5, so manageable 3rd down position for the Wolfpack. They need 4.
Good block by Beddix, the left guard, 6'4", 295-pound senior. You know, we talked about this. This is a big rivalry game. A lot of these kids have played high school against one another. A lot of North Carolina talent on both sidelines. These kids know each other, and they've all got a lot of pride. You look at North Carolina on 3rd down, 5 for 7. That's winning football.
They need 4 here from their own 45. Wilson can run up the middle. There he goes, and they've got him shy of the first down at the 48-yard line. Bruce Carter and Quan Sturdivant combined for the tackle, pick up of 3. So now, as Tom O'Brien inches down towards that far sideline marker,
Punt.
It looks like I was lining up a punt here, or lining up a putt, and it looks like the punting unit's coming on.
Anybody that knows Tom O'Brien, very conservative. He's going to play the odds. He's going to punt and make North Carolina go a long way.
When he got the job here, he said, hey, we want to beat North Carolina. You see this time and again. What happened down at Georgia Tech, Chan Gailey couldn't beat Georgia. John Cooper at Ohio State couldn't beat Michigan. Tom O'Brien came here and said, we want to beat North Carolina. This is the first punt for the Wolfpack today. Burney on the fly at the 20, but called a fair catch. And that'll be North Carolina football at the 18-yard line. 37-yard punt. So the Wolfpack on the road, and the fans who made the short trip so far in a good mood here in the second quarter. Oh, yeah. Today's game is brought to you by Alltel, the official wireless partners of fans. North Carolina takes over at their 18-yard line, trailing 10-3. Late second quarter in Chapel Hill. And a quick out far sideline, no good for Hakeem Nicks. It'll be second down and 10. Nicks out of Charlotte, North Carolina, became the go-to receiver after Brandon Tate got hurt.
TJ Yates releasing that football. One of his own guys hitting him around the ankles.
Yates 4 of 9, 41 yards passing. And you can see the discrepancy in the yards in this game. But of course, North Carolina with 2 early turnovers. Great protection, screen to Drone, breaks 1 tackle and takes it up to the 23-yard line. Nice effort there. And North Carolina will be faced with a 3rd down. Pickup of 5.
I am impressed with North Carolina State's defensive line's ability to recover in the speed sideline to sideline. Number 99, Jeff Reeskamp, showing, you know what, this football is not played between the hashes. It's sideline to sideline. Let's get a helmet to the ball.
And as you can see, not very good on 3rd down so far in this one.
They were 1 for 11 last week.
4-man rush. Yates to Nicks. Makes a man miss. Here comes Hakeem Nicks to the 40 and spun out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
This is what Tom O'Brien talked about. So much of this North Carolina offense is predicated off of 10 and 12-yard throws and 20 and 30 and 60-yard runs. You know, everybody talks about who is the ACC Player of the Year. Is it Hakeem Nicks? Is it James Davis, C.J. Spiller? Who's going to be that guy? In my opinion, this is the ACC Player of the Year.
And setting a number of records as this season goes on. 25-yard gain on that last play. Yates all day to throw, but nobody open. And now he's just going to get rid of it, and it'll be second down and 10 for North Carolina. Yates, a sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, suburb of Atlanta. Fractured his ankle against Virginia Tech.
A game that they reminded us how many times they were leading.
They were leading 17-3. Yes.
I think it's indelibly etched into my mind.
You're right.
I think if you asked me in 8 years, what was the score to the Virginia Tech North Carolina game before TJ Yates broke his ankle?
17-3.
17-3.
And you can tell that sticks in the craw of the coaching staff here. Drone scrambling on his own to get near the midfield stripe for a pickup with 2 yards on the play.
The guy that made that play was Nate Irving, number 56, the outside linebacker. Gets upfield, creates a pile. That's what holds North Carolina to only a 2-yard gain. This is a bad number right here, folks. You're 1 for 5 on 3rd downs, and last week you were 1 for 11. 2 for the last 16, not winning football.
3rd and long, they need 8. Another deep drop, and here's a sack, the second of the game for Willie Young. back at the 41-yard line. 8-yard loss on the play as Young gets his second sack and his 6th of the year.
They ran a little stunt there, guys, an ET. Tackle goes outside, end comes back around. Young comes clean. TJ Yates with nowhere to go. I am very impressed with Willie Young, and I could see the concern that Shope had about trying to block him coming into this game.
Terrence Brown ready to punt. TJ Graham would like to return this for the Wolfpack. Whoa, this is a monster kick. Graham all the way back at his 5. Picks up 1, 2 blocks, keeps his balance, takes it up to about the 13-yard line. 52-yard bomb of a punt and a 5-yard return. Let's take a look at the Hampton Hotel's upcoming schedule. For NC State, they will take on Miami in their season finale, and North Carolina, the annual season ender, against the Duke Blue Devils. North Carolina State, if they win today, still with a chance to become bowl eligible. North Carolina, we've already outlined their situation in the Coastal Division, and Virginia already losing. The last score we had from the game with Clemson was 10-0 Tigers. Virginia Tech in the mix as well. Shotgun, Russell Wilson, little screen to Andre Brown. He's to the 20. First down to the 27-yard line. Marvin Austin makes the tackle.
And one of the NC State offensive linemen got out there and put a great block on Quan Sturdivant. Good job of Wilson selling the play. It was number 60, Green, blocking Sturdivant, that allowed his running back to gain a lot extra yards.
That was good for 16 and a first down. Wilson again. Now the pocket breaks down and he's dropped at the 25. That'll be a sack for North Carolina. They're first in this one, and Marvin Austin will get it. And now we've got a timeout call. And the Wolfpack have called a timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout. So we've got a timeout on the field. Butch Davis will talk things over with his team. 10-3 Wolfpack late in the first. And we're back to the action now. Second down and long coming up for NC State. And it's a running play to Andre Brown. With the 28-yard line, the original line of scrimmage, setting up a third down and 10. Sturdivant makes the tackle for North Carolina. Jeff, you wondered why NC State called that timeout.
Yeah, we talked about that during the time, during the break. Why does NC State use a timeout to stop the clock when you're back deep in your own end of the field? I'm really surprised right now North Carolina's not using a timeout to either go after the punt block or something else. Look at this, folks. You think third down's not important in football? NC State's had 8 plays, 104 yards, 13-yard average, and that is really the difference in the game right now.
Well, they need 10 to keep this drive going. Wilson in trouble, avoids the rush. Now throw, incomplete to Brown. I thought he had it for a second. Good coverage in that secondary. Haskell and Sturdivant sandwich the running back, and it'll be fourth down. So the clock stops, 55 seconds to go in the half, and North Carolina has all their timeouts.
And North Carolina should get the ball somewhere around the 45-yard line with somewhere 47, 48 seconds to go and all 3 timeouts. Plenty of time to kick a field goal.
Pearson will punt. He averages close to 40 yards per kick. Burney awaits the kick for North Carolina at about the 35-yard line. They do it with the left leg. It's a low liner. Burney, nice hop to him. Avoids one Wolfpack player. Dodges another. Keeps the legs churning all the way up. And still going to the 47-yard line. Nice return. 36-yard punt. An 11-yard return. Pushing and shoving after the play. Today's game is brought to you in part by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Is that the longest punt return in NCAA history for a 10-yard game? Burney, it took 13 seconds off the clock. And time is what you're fighting right now if you're the University of North Carolina. 42 seconds to go in the half.
We've got an injured NC State player down at the 43-yard line over on the far side of the field. So as you can see, the training staff tending to him as Tom O'Brien looks on. We mentioned the fact that he's very much into this rivalry. This broadcast is a copyright presentation of Raycom Sports. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Raycom Sports is prohibited. Clem Johnson's the injured player. He's been a big guy on defense in the secondary for NC State, and this doesn't look good as he is assisted to the sideline.
What do they say? Been there, done that?
Yeah.
Not fun.
Fans have interesting things to say during the course of a game. Best start for North Carolina this drive at the 47. Here's Yates. Oh, he threw it, and it's intercepted and then fumbled. And North Carolina State is going to keep the football, I believe. Keith Willis has the fumble recovery. A bad throw by TJ Yates.
What a job by Willie Young, number 97. The bubble screen. You know, not normally from 6 or 8 yards away do you see a big guy be able to catch the ball and one of his teammates, Keith Willis Jr., recover the fumble. Take care of the football, young man.
So Willie Young, talk about a game, 2 sacks in this one and an interception. And now Butch Davis is calling a timeout.
Butch Davis wants this play reviewed. Did Willie Young actually have control of the ball before he lost it?
The head coach of North Carolina has challenged the ruling on the field.
Well, from the review the replay I saw, it looked like an interception.
But what does Butch Davis have to lose here? He's only going to lose a timeout. TJ Yates, very athletic move by Willie Young. 1, 2 steps. His knee is down when the ball comes out. This is an interception. I don't even think Keith Willis Jr. had to recover the fumble. The ball was already down.
So on our count, on Jeff's count, 2 steps, and then the ball came out.
1, 2. Watch the knee. The knee is down, and then the ball comes out. NC State's football. 38 seconds, and they still have 2 timeouts. This didn't take long. See, he's already out from under the mic. We're going to hear it.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. There was an interception. The player was down. First down.
I'm 3 for 3 right now.
Yes,
you know,
you are.
If you do the
ACC football brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota's keys are featured on RaycomSports.com.
If I did this in baseball, they'd be having to pay me a salary bigger than Manny Ramirez, wouldn't they? 3 for 3.
Yeah, really. If you're 30% in baseball, you're making about $6 million a year. All right, now North Carolina State. Great field position at the North Carolina 39-yard line. Wilson heaves it far sideline towards the end zone, jump ball and dropped. Oh my goodness, Owen Spencer had it and could not hold on.
Well, I would like to say the sun was in his face, but it was at his back. Russell Wilson throws a tremendous ball in the end zone. You need your wide receiver to help you a little bit more than this. If you're Butch Davis, oh my gosh, it hit him right in the hands. Owen Spencer's got to be the sickest guy on the field right now.
North Carolina State. That's our second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So they call timeout here because I don't think they had the right people in. The clock stopped with the incomplete pass. You got 31 seconds, and they're down to 1 timeout. All season long, our friends from Rascal Flatts open the telecast with their hit Bob That Head from the album Still Feels Good. And coming up January 17th of 2009, they'll start the final leg of their Bob That Head tour in Kansas City, Missouri. The band recently wrapped up touring in 2008, playing before over 1.2 million fans. Get more news on the guys and the tour at www.rascalflats.com. One more look here, Jeff, at this
Tremendous throw for Russell Wilson. If you're Owen Spencer, you have to help your quarterback. The flip side, if you're the cornerback, Jordan Hemby, find the football. Find the football. Don't just sit there and try and run with the wide receiver. Locate the football. This has got to be a touchdown for NC State. And I have to say this, I have to tell on you. When they were playing Rascal Flat that head, you were really getting into it, Bill.
With the Wolfpack lady. With the skirt on. 2nd and 10. Big rush. Wilson's in trouble. Now he just heaves it downfield, out of play, incomplete. So now it's 3rd down and 10. Clock down to 25 seconds, and you've got 1 timeout.
You know the thing I'm most impressed with Russell Wilson? Is it his running ability? Is it his arm? No. It's his decision-making process when a play breaks down. You wonder, how does a quarterback come into a game and not have an interception in 175 attempts? I've seen it this afternoon in the first half.
So 175, how many attempts today for Russell Wilson? 12, so we're now up to 187.
He may never throw another interception.
Well, they've been good on 3rd down, and if they want to take advantage of another turnover, they need to convert here from the North Carolina 39-yard line. Wilson rifles it down the middle, juggled in the air, caught, and this is the tight end Anthony Hill trying to fight for yards. He was a yard shy of the first down when he made the catch, kept going, and the clock continues to run with 10 seconds.
Tom O'Brien needs to use a timeout.
And probably waiting for it to wind down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then he burns the timeout with 1 second to go.
I don't like doing that.
It is their 3rd and final charge timeout of the half.
I would rather have my timeout with 6 or 7 seconds remaining. If you have a bad snap on your field goal attempt, at least you can try it again.
Reminder to go to raycomsports.com for a variety of ACC football highlights and features, archived videos, sweepstakes, podcasts, and information on our ACC Game of the Week. raycomsports.com, your link on the web to the ACC.
Russell Wilson sitting in the pocket. One of his favorite receivers, Anthony Hill, very close to the first down. Big guy fighting for extra yards. You know, sometimes you got to put the game in the hands of a kicker. I really don't like that, but sometimes you have to do that and see if NC State can convert some points before the half.
Now, what do we got going here? Because I do not see the field goal unit on.
Rodney Sealy, please report to the
Interesting.
Russell Wilson. And now North Carolina's going to call a timeout because they don't know what NC State has up their sleeve.
And this is only a 48-yard field goal.
Once again, Rodney Sealy.
And I think that the wind, as I look at the flags here, I think this is into the wind. So that might come into play here in the thinking of Tom O'Brien. There you can see the flags, and this is to our left as we look at the field from the press box. And Tom O'Brien talking things over once again on his side of the field. His offensive coordinator, Dana Bible, and talking to Dana this week. He's just, you could just tell the excitement in his voice to have healthy bodies.
Well, to have his quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, he's the offensive coordinator. And, you know, I'm sure he cares about Nate Irving, but he really cares about Russell Wilson.
Let's go down on the sidelines to Scott.
Hey, Bill, you know, I've been over here on the state sideline for the past 8 to 10 minutes, and I got to tell you, the emotion and the intensity and the red and white, these guys really, really want this football game, not only because it's a rivalry, but they want to win the state championship here in North Carolina, and that would mean defeating East Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest, and North Carolina if they can pull it off here today.
All right, so a possible field goal attempt not taken by NC State. 1 second to go in the half. Wilson can run if he wants, fires it downfield, up for grabs, incomplete, intended for T.J. Graham over the H and Tar Heels, and time has expired. But nonetheless, for North Carolina State, a very good 30 minutes on the road here in Chapel Hill, although they're going to look back at 3 North Carolina turnovers, and they came up with 3 points on 3 turnovers. Let's go downstairs again to Scott.
Well, Coach, how impressed are you with the way your defense has played here in the first half?
Well, we've been getting better the last couple of weeks, so it's, you know, I expect them to play this way. You know, we've got 30 more minutes. It's going to be really important we keep it up.
Real quickly, your offense, or defense has been able to force 3 turnovers. Should your offense have more points?
Well, we missed a field goal. Other than that, that was the only other opportunity.
Thanks so much, Coach. That's head coach Tom O'Brien, even-keeled as usual. He'll go into the locker room, and you better believe he'll fire his troops up again. State leading North Carolina here in Chapel Hill by a touchdown.
ACC football is brought to you by Chick-fil-A, by the new AT&T, by the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, by Outback Steakhouse, and by your local Toyota dealers.
And welcome back to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Kenan Stadium, where North Carolina trailing the Wolfpack of NC State 10-3 is our score. Hi again, everybody. Scott Przwanski back with you here at the half. A very chilly afternoon of football, but I'll tell you what, for NC State in red and white, you got to feel good right now because Carolina really struggling, and they're struggling because NC State has really jumped on them right now, and they did it from the opening possessions of the ball game too. I'll tell you what. Sean Drone, just one of the worst starts I think he could ever imagine. His first possession of the game for Carolina, he coughed it up on the second possession, and from there Carolina goes to the air, and the pressure on TJ Yates has been relentless. Willie Young has been in the backfield, and he's even had his hands on some passes. 2 sacks and an interception for Willie Young. Part of the reason why this NC State club is out in front of Carolina right now by a score of 10-3. Now, of course, we've got one other game going on in the Atlantic Coast Conference here on Raycom Sports, and it is a thriller up in Charlottesville, Virginia, between Clemson and UVA. And here's a little trickery as C.J. Spiller out of the backfield finds Grisham in the end zone for the touchdown. They get a field goal as well to the Tigers, and Clemson winning on the road over UVA. Our score right now is 10-3. And we've got one more week of regular season action here in the ACC, and we still don't know who's going to make it on that road to Tampa Bay for the ACC championship. So with that in mind, let's take a look now at our Advanced Auto Parts road to Tampa Bay ACC standings. And as you look at both of these divisions, it's just a dogfight. I mean, there's so many teams which have a possibility to get their way into that final game in Tampa Bay. Both sides, I mean, it's just anybody's ball game between the Coastal and the Atlantic Division right now. And so, of course, for North Carolina, they need to win and they need some help. That would be a loss by Virginia Tech and a loss by Virginia as well. And, of course, Virginia Tech controlling their own destiny. Again, our score here in Chapel Hill, NC State leading North Carolina 10-3. Back with more here from Kenan Stadium after this.
I'm Johnny Carrabba.
And I'm Damian Mandola.
And Carrabba's Italian Grill presents his favorite ACC moment.
Favorite ACC moment. We take a look back to one of the most dramatic finishes in the history of this great rivalry. The year 1990, the score tied at 9. Wolfpack kicker Damon Hartman nailed a 56-yard winner as time expired to give State the 12-9 victory. This favorite ACC moment brought to you by Carrabba's. Good things happen around our table. The score here in Chapel Hill, NC State looking for their 3rd straight win. They are leading North Carolina 10-3 is our score. Of course, this is the 98th meeting between these two schools, one of the bigger rivalries you will find in the Southeast, and certainly we have a good one. Maybe we'll have some more drama here at the end of this one as well. One guy who would like to see some drama in the favor of NC State is Willie Young. The defensive lineman has really begun to make a name for himself. He's had an outstanding first half. With a closer look at Willie Young, here's our Don Shea.
Last season was a sack party for the redshirt junior. Of his 19 tackles for loss, a career high of 16 came last year, including 6 sacks. That's the 7th best single-season mark in Pac history and the 2nd best for an NC State sophomore, trailing Carl Reeves' 20 tackles for loss in 1992. What's your secret, Willie?
Hard work, dedication, commitment, just paying attention to details, having to jump on my opponent, as far as game preparation, film study, just paying close attention to what's going on.
Virginia 6 out of 10 on 3rd down. They'll work from a shotgun with 4 wides in a one-back set. Here's Sewell under pressure, brought down by Willie Young, sacked back inside the 40 at about the 37-yard line. Freeman under center from the 26. Miami out of the eye. Pitch back going to Javaris James, and he is thrown for a big loss inside the 15-yard line by Willie Young.
And if Willie isn't wrapping his hands around a quarterback, he has them wrapped around a fishing pole. He makes his own lures, and what he catches, he cleans and cooks.
Fishing, I tell you what, I could fish all day. If I'm not in practice right now, I'm sure me and my brothers would be somewhere fishing right now. So,
well, it's a great relaxing thing to do.
I tell you, it's relaxing, but it can be very tense sometimes. But exactly. I want to customize my own fishing boat one day. You know, a little bit of luxury with a little bit of speed in it. You know, it's a long story, but I got it all planned out. So I got to start my mind on starting a charter business one day. And,
well, maybe this year you can, if you'll allow me to say this, you can hook and cook some of them quarterbacks.
I tell you what, when you see me on the field like this, I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them. Yes.
Right.
Hey, and Willie Young has been going to get him and reeling him in, too. He's got 2 sacks and an interception here in the first half. Let's stick with defense right now. Move on to one of my favorite segments. Cooper Tire presents the big stop of the week, and not just one player, but a couple of players. This week's big stop goes to Boston College. The entire defense, they grabbed 3 pivotal interceptions in last week's crucial win against Florida State. 3 picks brings the Eagles' total to 21 for the season, the most of any team in the nation. And that's our Cooper Tire big stop of the week, the Boston College defense. Here in Chapel Hill, it's the NC State defense holding Carolina to just 3 points in the first half. The Pack lead it 10-3. Back to wrap things up and get ready for the second half after this word for your local ACC stations. Well, State and Carolina, a lot of bobbing that head on the opposite sideline that I'm on right now. The white and red of NC State coming in here and looking to get 2 straight victories over North Carolina. They lead it here over the Tar Heels 10-3 as our score here at the half. The Carolina Tar Heels turned the ball over on their first 2 possessions. They turned it over on their last possession of the second quarter as well, and they trail it 10-3. Our Outback Steakhouse scoreboard, we'll take a look and show you up in Charlottesville. Clemson leading the Hoos 10-3 at the break. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, and that's State rivalry, a tight one in the second quarter as well. West Virginia, Louisville all knotted up at the break, and Rutgers right now with 23 points in the first half to lead Army. Purdue and Indiana all Boilermakers in this one at the break. Ohio State by a touchdown over Michigan, 14-7 the score there. Yale and Harvard in a duel, and New Hampshire out in front of Maine, 14-10. Of course, our score here, NC State out in front of North Carolina 10-3, and as we send it back upstairs to Bill and Jeff, guys, you got to be thinking if you're North Carolina, we've turned the ball over 3 times, can't get anything going offensively, but you know, we're only down by a touchdown right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was interesting, Tom O'Brien saying, well, we got a field goal there, and we only missed a field goal. This could come back to haunt them, Jeff, when you have that many opportunities and a short field and put just 3 points on the board.
What do they say? 5 or 6 plays will typically determine the outcome of a football game. NC State very opportunistic early in the football game. Thankfully, because of the North Carolina offense, Sean Jones puts the ball on the ground a couple times. NC State recovers those fumbles. You know, they make one field goal, miss another one. But certainly you'd like to be punching in touchdowns instead of trying kicking field goals. But I've been impressed with how NC State has come out and played this football game. Russell Wilson, great adjustment by Jarvis Williams. Big play that led to their touchdown, a 97-yard drive, culminating with George Bryant's touchdown. He got rocked right there. But, you know, North Carolina's still in the football game, and they haven't been their best friend. I mean, they've turned the ball over 3 times. We talked about it in the open. When Carolina turns the ball over and loses a turnover battle, they lose football games. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, Willie Young there with that interception, and of course they had that big 4th down conversion. Here are the Hyundai halftime stats, and you can see the numbers, the passing yards, the rushing yards, all in favor of NC State. The turnovers, the big difference, but the points were pretty close.
The other big difference is 3rd down. North Carolina is 1 for 6. If you go back to last week's game, 1 for 11. If you go back to the Georgia Tech game, they missed their last 3. 2 for the last 20 on 3rd downs.
Well, we should have a very interesting second half here in Chapel Hill. Our score at the half, North Carolina State 10, North Carolina 3. Wolfpack will start with the football when we start the 3rd quarter.
ACC football is being brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, by Ruby Tuesday, by GMC, by Cooper Tires, by Sonic Drive-In, by Acura, and by Geico.
A great statue outside the football facility here in Chapel Hill. Charlie Choo Choo Justice. And this facility is going to be upgraded over the next couple of years. What North Carolina wants to do is upgrade their offense in the second half. Let's go downstairs to Scott.
Well, Coach, what was the most disappointing part of the first half?
Clearly, I mean, I thought our defense responded pretty good to some sudden change situations. But turning the ball over in a game like this, you just can't do that. You got to do a good job protecting the football.
Okay, guys, that's Butch Davis. You can tell he's ready to get this second half going.
Yeah, Butch is jacked up. I'm sure he had a few words of advice for his team in the locker room at the half. But NC State will get the ball to start this second half. And Russell Wilson, who had a great start.
You always talk about, the first 5 minutes of each half, and you look at the possessions at North Carolina State, not taking advantage of a fumble right here, missing a field goal. But then they had the long 11-play touchdown drive, 97 yards. They've got a field goal that they added on another fumble by North Carolina.
ACC football presented in high definition where available by MFS Investment Management. A diverse range of products so advisors can choose what fits.
Which team can implement their will early in this half?
Here's a very short kickoff. And on the fly, this is Graham. A lot of running room. TJ Graham, big return to the North Carolina 39-yard line. Ryan Taylor finally chased him down. It was a short kick, 41 yards return, and a big return to get NC State in great field position.
You look at the first half leaders. Russell Wilson, I've been very impressed with this young man. 7 for 14, 130 yards and a touchdown. Owen Spencer, his receiver. NC State, not killing themselves, making plays when they have opportunities.
Andre Brown will be the starting tailback behind Russell Wilson. From the North Carolina 40, little naked bootleg. Nobody open. Good defense by North Carolina, but he shovels it away anyway to his tight end, Anthony Hill. So another good heads-up play, and Mark Pascal, who's been very active, had 10 tackles in the first half, and going right after the quarterback here.
Watch Robert Quinn. He has no idea where the football is. Great job with the ball fake by Russell Wilson. Almost pulled to Brett Favre. This is what Brett Favre does. Makes these little shuttle passes out of the pocket. I like what I see in number 16.
I believe Wilson's now 0 for his last 8 in passing the football after a great start. Run and play. Andre Brown down to the 32-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd and short for the Wolfpack. Kendrick Burney will get credit for the tackle. That's an 8-yard run.
We talked about it. Who can implement their will early in this second half? If NC State converts this first down and pops this thing in the end zone, does North Carolina hit the panic button? 17-3. Oh my gosh. And that's what NC State has to do. They have to try and put North Carolina on their heels.
And this field position set up by the big kickoff return by TJ Graham. 3rd down coming up here. 50% so far. And a bootleg again by Wilson. And they chase him down at the 35-yard line. Bruce Carter, the sophomore. Loss of a couple of yards, and it'll be 4th down.
Earlier we talked about Nate Irving, one of the linebackers out of the box. How about number 54 for North Carolina? Watch the lateral speed. Russell Wilson can run. The big guy, 6'3", 230 pounds, runs him down, forcing a 4th down and 5.
Right, remember, they did not try a field goal late at the end of the first half, and I think the wind had a lot to do with it. This would be about a 52, 53-yarder. So NC State going for it on 4th down. They need 5. Great protection by Wilson. The throw, and it's dropped at the 27-yard line. Anthony Hill open in the secondary. That was a great throw, but he couldn't hold on.
Anthony Hill wanted an interference call against Quan Sturdivant. And Quan Sturdivant very well may have gotten away with one. Watch the left part of your screen. A lot of contact with that right arm right there. And look at him. No, I wasn't there early. I'm innocent.
Well, if it was up to the players, there wouldn't be a foul.
Do offensive linemen ever hold?
No,
yes
never,
or no? Never.
Never hold.
Your hand may get caught in somebody's jersey, but...
Drone will be the running back now for TJ Yates. North Carolina starts at their 35. Hicks can't hold on to that one as he tries to hit him at the 40-yard line. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Closed captioning for today's telecast is provided by Bojangles. You gotta, wanna, need a, gotta have a Bojangles.
I love Bojangles. Cajun biscuit combo. Cajun biscuit combo.
All right, next time I'm there, I'm gonna say, give me the Bostic special.
You got it.
Last 5 first down plays, 1 yard for North Carolina. 2nd and 10, man in motion, coming around. This is Hakeem Nicks, and they've got him stopped at the 30-yard line. Good defense by DeAndre Morgan, and a loss of 5 on the play. Now, Jeff, they do run their wideouts a lot in this offense. First time we've seen it today.
Well, I think it was kind of interesting. Mike Archer said, you're going to see 2 or 3 reverses a game, and you got to get the ball in the hand of Nicks as many times as you can. Great job by the secondary, particularly DeAndre Morgan, number 21, reacting to the reverse and getting upfield. We're seeing the nemesis right there, 3rd down. North Carolina has been horrible.
Yeah, and look at this one now, 3rd and 15. NC State almost jumped offside. Coming a little stunt up the middle. Here's the toss, tipped in the air and knocked away. Had a receiver, Brooks Foster, and it was tipped away by Jeremy Gray. Good defensive play by Gray to get a hand on that pass, and it's 4th down.
And now going back to the last 3 possessions of the Georgia Tech game, North Carolina's offense, 2 for 21. Good job by number 30, Jeremy Gray, getting a hand on the football.
2 for 21 in 3rd down conversions.
And for the season, they're 41% on 3rd down.
Brown will punt. Graham is back deep for NC State. End over end. Hits at the 30, takes a North Carolina bounce, and now Graham gets by 1 tackler. And Graham spun around and thrown to the turf, and the fans in the light blue jerseys and parkas, whatever else they've got on in the Carolina colors, enjoyed that one. NC State with the football. When we come back, they've got the lead. 3rd quarter here in Chapel Hill. Today's game is brought to you by Alltel, the official wireless partners of fans. And we are in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where the visitors from just down I-40, the Wolfpack of NC State, have come to town. They've got the lead, and they've got the football at their own 26-yard line. Jamel Eugene will be the tailback. Play action fake. Wilson bootleg. He's got all day to run, but he's going to throw upfield, and a great catch. He hits Owen Spencer on the fly. Spencer to the 30, all the way down to the 20-yard line. Tremaine Goddard finally chased him down. Jeff, he could have run it that far because there wasn't a blue jersey on that side of the field, and he made a great throw here.
How confident is Russell Wilson of his arm? Obviously, Owen Spencer running wide open, but if you saw the field open up the way we did up here, he could have run from the middle of the NC to the sideline. It was wide open, but it was a great throw.
54-yard pass play. That breaks the string of 0 out of 8. Now in trouble. Wilson avoids it. Shovel pass ahead to Jamel Eugene, and he is to the 15-yard line. And a great heads-up play by the quarterback, and a gain of 5, 2nd down.
The North Carolina defense creating instant pressure. I like what this young man does with the football. You know what everybody says, a little bit risky. No, you're taking an opportunity to get the ball to your running back and trusting he catches it. You don't see this from redshirt freshmen around the country, believe me.
2nd and 5. Wilson, good protection. Little dump off at the 10-yard line. Jamel Eugene is down to about the 5-yard line. And that'll be a 1st and goal for the Wolfpack, a pickup of 9. Sturdivant made the tackle.
Look for him to go to his tight end. He likes the tight end in the red area. If I were North Carolina, I would be having somebody cover up Anthony Hill. Oh, they got the touchdown maker in there now. George Bryant lined up on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he and Hill are both lined up left. Hill is the slot, but they're going to run it. Jamel Eugene at the 2, down to the 1-yard line, and caught the football up and then recovers it in the end zone. I think they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. He recovered his own fumble. Bruce Carter with the hit as the ball came loose.
Watch Jamel Eugene. How important is the football? Watch possession. He gets spun around. He's going to reach out. Effort for the touchdown. Comes out of his hands. Crawl. Get there. Come on, get there. Yeah, he's going to get that ball back.
2nd down and goal. NC State at the 1-yard line of North Carolina. Eugene is the tailback in this I formation. Jamel Eugene pulls his way forward. Touchdown, Wolfpack. He had 3 rushing touchdowns against North Carolina last year, his first rushing touchdown of this season.
Jamel Eugene gets to take the touchdown, but give this drive to Russell Wilson. Tremendous play to Owen Spencer, setting up this touchdown. NC State first to sit down and invoke their will on North Carolina in the second half.
Extra point by Tchaikovsky. It is good. And now does the game plan change because of this touchdown for NC State? What will North Carolina have to do offensively early in the 3rd in Chapel Hill? Shop at S&K Menswear for great deals this week, including 25 to 60% off select menswear. Visit skmenswear.com to shop online or find a location near you. The Wolfpack band playing a tune, and the Wolfpack fans hooping it up. Their team just got another touchdown, and they lead here in Chapel Hill 17-3. And now we'll see what kind of answer North Carolina has. This was a kickoff out of bounds. 2nd time we've had a kickoff go out of bounds. And North Carolina will get the ball at the 40-yard line.
That is inexcusable. You know, you've got a field that's 54 yards wide. Put the ball in play. Allow your coverage to at least stop them at the 25, 30-yard line. Don't give them the ball at the 40. Look at Tom O'Brien. You know, the kicker's like the Maytag repairman, the loneliest man in the world. Until he kicks the ball out of bounds, then everybody talks to him.
You can see the scoring drive there, and of course there was the big pass play.
Isn't this what North Carolina does? You know, 4- and 5-yard drives, 74 yards, and scores quick. North Carolina State taking a page out of that.
Drone the tailback in the eye for TJ Yates, and this is Drone looking for something up the middle. And again, this North Carolina State defensive front not giving an inch. A gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 yards to go. There's Irving again. Interesting talking with Mike Archer, the defensive coach. Jeff, you've mentioned a couple of times that he called his team out for being an embarrassment. The other thing he did is he mentioned the fact that while Irving and Alan Michael Cash were hurt, I said, well, who are the leaders? He goes, we didn't have any.
Well, sometimes that's true. I mean, people aren't just natural leaders because somebody else goes out. You know, you're sitting there holding the bag.
Drone, here's a nice hole up the middle. And up to the 47-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd down and 3. Give them 6 on that carry. Yeah, and then actually, when you talk to Dana Bible, he gave you the same answer on the offensive side with some of the injuries they've had. But since you've got Cash back in the lineup, Nate Irving, the sophomore from Wallace, North Carolina, this has been a very good NC State defense.
Well, the thing we talked about earlier, and I think it's worth repeating, North Carolina State has had players injured that have missed 70 total games. That is a lot of football.
So your call here on 3rd and 3. Quick out, Hakeem Nicks makes the catch. That'll be a first down at the 47-yard line. Jeremy Gray with the coverage. But you try to get the ball to your big play receiver, and that time they got it to the junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
And you don't realize how hard this throw was. You know, you got about a 3-yard slant. The ball's got to be there right on time because the corner's right there playing man press.
I don't know if this is a must-answer scoring drive.
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
I'll go with the expert. Offset backs, play action. Waits his throw, catch, nice grab, turning it at the 30. Down to the 20-yard line, Greg Little. Just his 4th catch of the year, but he found himself open down the sideline. The result, 27 yards on the game.
He found a little opening in the zone. TJ Yates does a good job with the ball fake. Greg Little last year was playing tailback. Tailback, folks. Now he's a wide receiver, very athletic guy. Butch Davis thinks he's got a great future at wide receiver, even playing on Sunday.
Top of your screen, that's Nicks. Bottom of the screen, that's Little. Backs in the eye, 1st and 10 from the 20. Nicks could not catch the football, and he looks back at TJ Yates and says, hey, I thought you were going to hit me where I stopped.
He threw the ball out in front of him a little bit more than Nicks had anticipated. I told Butch Davis yesterday, I said, I think you're only scratching the surface as to what can happen here at North Carolina. And I said, were you shocked at the success and how many wins you've turned around in just your 2nd year? You know, and Butch is very modest. We'll talk about that in just a second.
2nd and 10, and they'll hand the ball off to Drone. Nice move to the 15. Sean Drone down to the 10-yard line. Depends on the spot whether he's got the first down. I don't think so. I think they're going to mark him just shy of the 10. So it'll be 3rd and 1 coming up. Bobby Floyd makes the tackle.
You know, give credit to that North Carolina offensive line. Jolly, Pelk, Dyer, Darity, and Reynolds did a good job of removal on the North Carolina State defensive front. This is a big offensive line. They average 307. Average.
Bringing the chains out to see if this is a first down. Ugh.
Now, when we said this is a must-score opportunity,
and you're not talking 3 points.
I didn't say you had to get a touchdown.
Okay.
You've got to get points on the board.
Inches shy, so this is the kind of 3rd down yardage you want to see. Not 3rd and 15, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. This is 3rd and inches.
This is where North Carolina thrives on the play action. Look for him to take a shot. If I were Butch Davis, I'm running football. I'm sorry.
And if they run it, it'll be to Ryan Houston, and he is their short down back. That's him in the 3-point stance. Takes the handoff. Big hole. He's got more than enough for the first down. 1st and goal, North Carolina at the 5-yard line. A pickup of 6 for Ryan Houston.
Got in there behind his center, Lowell Dyer, and it's kind of interesting. Kid has been nominated for the Werfel Award given to the football player in the subdivision that best combines exemplary community service, achievements in athletics and academics. Kid has a double major, English and philosophy.
Houston again, right up the middle, pulling his way forward. Does he cross the goal line? He does! Touchdown, Tar Heels! Ryan Houston willing his way to the goal line.
Not only did Ryan Houston bring the Tar Heels to within an extra point of being 7 points behind, he brought this crowd back to life. Very physical run.
Casey Barth, extra point. This one's good. And North Carolina with a must drive to put some points on the board. They do stick it in the end zone. Number 32, Ryan Houston scores. And we're back after a word from your local stations. Today's game is brought to you in part by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. And we got ourselves a ball game, and there is Ryan Houston with a couple of big runs, one on 3rd down, and then once they got to the end zone, he did the rest. And North Carolina, a must drive for a score, and they got it. And you can see they're down 7. Kickoff high, real short, and a fair catch called for and made by Taylor Gentry at the 32-yard line. Time to update our Alltel Text of War poll. We're asking you this question: which division is stronger, Atlantic or Coastal? And so far, you can see 60-40. The Atlantic Division has the edge. Add your voice to the vote. Text your answer A1 or A2 to 55333. Thanks for participating in Alltel's Text of War. NC State now with a 7-point lead. Yes. NC State fans voting in on that one. Andre Brown with the handoff. Breaks one tackle. Got the late flag on the play. And there was some stuff going on behind the line of scrimmage. I think Cam Thomas was involved in it being held.
They got the center.
Holding 58 of the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
We talked about this earlier. Your hand inadvertently gets hung up in a guy's jersey. That's what happened to Ted Larson. But understand something. He's trying to block a man that's 6'4", 330 pounds. You need a little advantage, right? You know what's scary? I can't believe I used to play people that big. When I look back and look at it now, it somewhat scares me.
Second and long coming up for the Wolfpack. Wilson out of the gun. Play action. A lot of time. There's the deep ball, and guess he's got Owen Spencer again. And missed him at the 25-yard line. Oh my goodness. Spencer had 3 yards on the nearest defender. Nice throw. Now 4 drops today by the wide receivers and tight ends of the Wolfpack.
It will be interesting to see this replay. Great camera angle. If you're Owen Spencer, you got to catch this ball, at least lay out. You know, give your body up. Your quarterback throws a strike and his heart's broken at the end. This kid's got a cannon. This kid has got a cannon.
Third down coming up and 20 yards to go for an NC State first down. Wilson's going to get rid of it. And this is Andre Brown to the 31-yard line, but way shy of the first down, and the Wolfpack will have to send the punting unit on. The North Carolina defense does its job.
E.J. Wilson with the pressure. Nothing wrong with picking up 8 yards and punting the ball right now. The thing that North Carolina State has to do, come out with defensive intensity and take this crowd and that offense out of the game.
Okay, and with the holding call, now it's third down coming up. See the numbers, 5 of 11 in third down conversions in this one. They need about 12. Wilson sets up and throws, and it's caught at the 50-yard line and knocked out of bounds. It's Jay Smith, the freshman from Norfolk, Virginia. His first catch of this game. 5th of the season, 25 yards, and a Wolfpack first down.
We're going to change it from Russell Wilson to Clutch Wilson. Every throw that he's had to make this afternoon, he does. He beats the Norris Cersei. Great throw. And this is, you know, a young redshirt freshman. That ball is right in stride, right where your receiver needs it, and he takes advantage.
Andre Brown with that pass from Wilson right over the middle, takes it to the 42-yard line of North Carolina, where Mark Pascal makes another one of his team-leading tackles today. So there's our scoreboard from Acura. Tennessee all over Vanderbilt. Florida with the lead. Ohio State and Michigan.
What a long year for Rich Rodriguez.
And that's a look at our Acura scoreboard. He told his fans to get a life, didn't he? Jamel Eugene flag on the play all the way down to the 35-yard line, but hold everything here.
They may have Mr. Larson again. If they didn't, they missed an opportunity.
Cam Thomas was looking over at the sideline, had his head bent back. It's holding, it's against the Wolfpack.
Holding 58 of the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
If you've been guilty of those things, you can see them. See, they're having to play him in a shade. See that left arm? Right here. That's the one. When you got it outside the shoulders and you're holding it, they'll call that every time.
So that's back-to-back holding calls in this series against Ted Larson and both against Cam Thomas.
That's a lot to hold.
Officials trying to figure out where to spot this thing, and now they're going to march it back all the way to the...
This is when you're standing in the huddle and you're screaming at your teammate. What's the deal, guy? You're killing us. You're killing us right now. You know, but nobody feels worse than the guilty party. I'm sure Ted Larson feels like, oh gosh, look at him shaking his head.
Richard Jr. from Palm Harbor, Florida. All right, the ball spotted at the NC State 48. 2nd and 17. Late third quarter, Chapel Hill. The I-40 rivalry heating up. The pump fake, looked for the screen, nobody open. Now he'll throw. Jamel Eugene's got it. And out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Deontay Williams in on the tackle for North Carolina. That gets 11 back after the big penalty.
You know, you talked in the last series when North Carolina had the football. Is this a must score for North Carolina? I think it's a must score for NC State. You have to put points on the board and keep it more than a one-score difference. These kids are hitting each other, believe me.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by SeatExchange.com, the official ticket exchange partner of the ACC. Big third down here from the North Carolina 41. Blitz is coming. Wilson throws, and it's a catch. But the knee was down, I think, by T.J. Graham, short of the first down. So a big decision coming up here for Tom O'Brien.
Easy decision. Tom O'Brien will go for this.
They've passed up long field goal opportunities, but there's a pretty stiff wind now blowing into the face of the NC State offense, and therefore into the kicker if they tried a 50-some yard field goal. So here they go, 4th down, and a yard to go for the Wolfpack. Wants to throw the football. Nobody's open. Now he gets rid of it, and a catch at the 28-yard line. Gentry, the fullback, found himself open. What great concentration. And Russell Wilson, you talk about patience, he had it there.
What a surprising call. 3rd down and inches, play action. And who do you go to? Your freshman fullback. You know, never lets the pattern die. Russell Wilson buying time with his legs. The ball is right where it needs to be.
Sturdivant was chasing him. And now I think North Carolina has opted to call a timeout. Butch Davis is chewing with one of the officials. And you know what? I wonder if they're looking at whether he was out of bounds at one point before he got back onto the field. And it looks like we didn't see it.
There's no way Butch Davis saw it from his perspective.
So here's the throw. Now this would be when he would have come back into the field of play, but did he take a step out of bounds and then come back in? Whatever we have no way of knowing what that discussion is about, but we're just there's no timeout. And why would you stop the play to explain a play to a coach?
It's unusual. You know the most relieved person on the field right now? Ted Larson.
It's right.
You know, center has 2 holding penalties in a drive. You pick up a 4th down and a 3rd down or 4th down and 1. Yeah, he's happy.
1st down out of the shotgun from the 28-yard line. Good protection over the middle. Oh, and it's almost should have been caught, and then it was almost picked off by Deontay Williams through the hands of T.J. Graham.
Tell you what, we talked about it earlier. 18 interceptions for the year. This should have been 19, and this should have gone to the house. Number 27, Deontay Williams, turned 21 years old yesterday. How big a birthday present would this have been?
What was that, 5 drops now? Against 5 drops. So Russell Wilson's numbers could be even better if his receivers would have been better. Now the quarterback's going to scramble to the 25, to the 20. Look at Wilson run to the 10. Makes a beeline for the pylon. It'll be first and goal Wolfpack at the 3-yard line. Williams finally chases him down, but that time Russell Wilson, who's been bottled up most of this game, picks up 25 yards.
You can understand when we spoke with Dana Bible last Wednesday why he was missing Russell Wilson in the lineup. Had a concussion against South Carolina, missed several games. He was out against South Florida. This kid is a playmaker. He keeps the play alive with his legs, uncanny ability of throwing the ball on the run, keeping drives alive. This kid's going to be special.
First down and goal Wolfpack. Andre Brown will be the running back. He's got the football, running left, big hole, touchdown! NC State, a 2-yard run and a gaping hole for Andre Brown.
Andre Brown gets in behind number 70, Vermiglio, and his left guard, Bettix. NC State answers that North Carolina drive resoundingly.
Tchaikovsky, extra point kick is right down the middle. So with 1:28 to go in the third quarter, you can see Andre Brown with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. He's also caught one for a score. And the Wolfpack answer the North Carolina touchdown.
That is a gaping hole. The left side collapses North Carolina. Andre Brown just walks into the end zone.
So huge answer by the Wolfpack as Brown caps that drive. And look at the penalties, the 2 holding calls. They had some very long situations to convert on 2nd and 3rd down, and they were able to do it. Last year, NC State led early 17-0. Jamel Eugene, a couple of touchdown runs, big plays for North Carolina, however. 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. Charles Brown, 92-yarder, got North Carolina back in the game. Brandon Tate then scores on a 50-yard trick play. And then Jamel Eugene's 3rd touchdowns 2 minutes into the 4th, put State back in the lead. Final, Wolfpack 31, Tar Heels 27. Short kickoff. And a fumble on the play. Picked up by the Wolfpack, and they'll have it at the 20-yard line. The 4th turnover. J.C. Neal got the football. 4 turnovers by the Tar Heels, and the Wolfpack will have it at the 20-yard line of Carolina.
Exactly what Butch Davis in North Carolina did not want to see. But I will say this, Bill. When you're into your 11th game, teams have a modus operandi. When North Carolina is turning the football over, they're losing. This is their 4th turnover this afternoon. NC State has been able to take advantage of that. Thus far in the afternoon, NC State has no turnovers, and they've been exceptional on 3rd down.
Butch Davis talking on the sideline. Richard Quinn was the player who fumbled the ball, one of the up men for the Tar Heels. Now NC State having some confusion now on who should be in the huddle. With 1:19 to go here.
The only person you need in the huddle is number 16. Leave 16 in the huddle.
4th possession to start in North Carolina territory. Wilson wants it all down the middle of the field. Touchdown! Tar Heels! Owen Spencer right down the middle of the field. And NC State has a 30-10 lead.
It sounds repetitive, folks, but number 16 is special. That is a strike.
21-yard touchdown pass. Russell Wilson to Owen Spencer. Tchaikovsky, busy man, extra point, good. So the Tar Heels had pulled to within 7 just about 4 or 5 minutes ago on the clock. Now you can see 1:14 left in this 3rd quarter, and the Wolfpack leading 31-10.
NC State fans, get used to this. Owen Spencer, sophomore, Russell Wilson, redshirt freshman. They got a lot of games to play together yet.
Spencer, a sophomore from Leland, North Carolina. And he has become the go-to receiver for Russell Wilson. Today's Nissan Heisman in the ACC is North Carolina State's Ted Brown. Some say the best running back to play for the Wolfpack. The High Point native set an ACC record with 4,600 yards between 1975 and 1978. His 51 touchdowns, still an ACC record, and he was a first-round draft pick of the Minnesota Vikings. Ted Brown is today's Nissan Heisman in the ACC.
You know, I played against him in college, but I played against him in high school.
Really?
He went to high school at High Point Andrews, where he was a teammate of Daniel Evans' father, Johnny Evans, who played quarterback here at NC State. Went on to play in the pros with Buffalo and Cleveland. He's broadcasting the Wolfpack radio right now.
Here's the kickoff, another real short one. This is Bobby Rome running it back for the Tar Heels, and they take it up to about the 36, 37-yard line. 13 yards on the return. Well, let's see what the mood is on the sidelines. Let's check in with Scott.
Well, as you can imagine, I moved over here to the Carolina sideline. I'm looking at the defensive players. This is as down as I have ever seen this group in this entire year, and I've been to a couple of Carolina games. No one's really talking to each other right now. Some of the coaches coming over trying to get the players to get their heads up, but this is a look of a team that is really, really in shock defensively right now.
And they hope their offense can come up with something here. Now, the last time they were on the field, DJ Yates engineered a nice touchdown drive. Yates is going to have to put this one in the air on first down. He short hops Hakeem Nicks. Nicks slaps his hands in disgust, and now claps his hands, saying, "Okay, let's get it back." And the fans booing TJ Yates.
That's a tough situation if you're Butch Davis and obviously your offensive coordinator John Choate. I mean, you choose to bring TJ Yates back as your starting quarterback. Sexton's been 5-2 as a starter, and visiting with Butch yesterday, he said, made the decision to clear it up so they wouldn't ask all our other players all week.
Yates throws again. This time he finds Brooks Foster up near the 49-yard line. That'll be a first down for North Carolina. Dominique Ellis makes the tackle. Remember, Clem Johnson got hurt. The safety for NC State that happened on a special teams play. As we check the Acura scoreboard again. Tussle between Ohio State and Michigan.
You think there's a big game tonight in Texas?
Yates, little dump off to Drone. Drone trying to make something happen, but the NC State defense all over him there.
You know, it's amazing to me when I look at Tom O'Brien's assistant coaching staff. 209 years of combined experience. Not counting Tom O'Brien's experience, just his assistants. 209 years of coaching experience.
And I think he's into this rivalry thing here with he made it up. We talked about this in the first half. We get into the fourth quarter, we're going to get into it again and what this rivalry means to him. Back to throw Yates, quick out, and broken up over on the far sideline. DeAndre Morgan stepped in front of Hakeem Nicks to knock it away.
And the fans here at Chapel Hill don't like this. Great break on the ball. They have gotten away with the right hand, but too close to call.
And Bugaboo third down coming up, and again third and long. 3rd and 11 from the 48-yard line.
You know when a child goes, he's not my friend. This is what third down is to North Carolina. He's not my friend.
And they're usually third in a bunch. This isn't 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1. Here's the 3rd and 11. And a sack back at the 41-yard line. 3rd sack of the game for the NC State defense. And it was Alan Michael Cash. His first sack of this one, and the punting unit on for the Tar Heels. And we've come to the end of this 3rd quarter of play. North Carolina seemingly got back into it with a score with 2 touchdowns in a row for the Wolfpack. And as we go to the 4th quarter, all NC State in Chapel Hill. 31-10 NC State as we start the fourth quarter. Wow. And North Carolina will punt to start this fourth quarter as they switch sides. T.J. Graham back deep awaiting the kick of Terrence Brown. He's just going to let it go. Hits at the 30-yard line. Takes a Tar Heel bounce and will be down inside the 25 at about the 23-yard line. Time now for the champions, how you play the game. The star of the 1922 9-1 Tar Heels was a tough-nosed fullback, a fullback nicknamed the Battering Ram. Jack Merritt was the inspiration when the Heels decided they needed a mascot. Ramses 1 arrived just in time for the game against VMI, where the Heels were huge underdogs. The Carolina place kicker rubbed Ramsey's head before a fourth quarter attempt. North Carolina won 3-0, and a new tradition was born. That's our champion, how you play. DeAndre Brown takes the handoff for the Wolfpack and takes it up to the 23-yard line. Let's take a look at our Progress Energy progress report as we look at the stats through three quarters. You can see the huge edge there by
passing
NC
yards
State.
are big right there, but the big one for North Carolina, and it's been their Achilles heel all year long, when they lose football games, they turn footballs over. 4 turnovers for North Carolina. This is a high for the season. And NC State, flawless, no turnovers, and you can't tip your hat enough to Russell Wilson and how he's performed.
Yeah, in that third quarter, NC State had 188 yards in offense, North Carolina 60. Brown on a delay, looking for some running room up to the 32-yard line. Mark Pascal makes the tackle. And Cam Sexton, there you can see him on the sideline, the starter for the midway after the injury against Virginia Tech. He came on in, led his team to 5 wins, and warming up in the bullpen.
And I'll say this is not the type of situation, if you're Cam Sexton, that you want to come into a football game. You're 21 points behind, 13 minutes and 49 seconds to go. I mean, his name is Cam Sexton, not Harry Houdini.
Now, Mark Pascal, who's had a great game, a great season for North Carolina, leading tackler in this one, and he was shaken up on this play, and you can see slowly, painfully getting up to his feet. 12 tackles in this one.
Let's see if we can see where he was injured. Right there.
I was trying to make the tackle and then slid off the tackler, and one of those big hogs up front knocked him down. Andy Barbie, number 74. Now you can see Pascal making his way to the Carolina sideline.
I can tell you from past experiences, it's not a lot of fun to be on the bottom of those pile-ups. There's some things that go on under those pile-ups that we don't need to talk about here either.
Good. Let's not bring it up at this point.
Okay, I'll talk to you on the way to the airport, but I'm not talking now. You'll find it humorous.
Got the senior Chase Rice has come in to replace Mark Pascal. On a 3rd and 1 for the Wolfpack at their 32-yard line. This is Brown. He's got the first down and plenty more up to the 37-yard line. So now NC State working on the clock. We're very early in the fourth quarter, but they're up by 21.
Tom O'Brien mentioned something to us on the telephone conference Wednesday. He said until last year, nobody on this NC State football team had ever beaten North Carolina. Did Tom O'Brien know in the back of his mind, maybe we can go back to back? This is a good football coach. This is a guy that inherited a program that was in trouble. It's going to take him a few years to turn it around, but this guy has been, at Boston College, turned their program around, led them to 8 straight bowl victories.
Running play to Brown, and this is, I think, NC State's just going to work on this clock with a 21-point lead, just shy of the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. All season long, we are following the road to Tampa Bay and the ACC Football Championship in Tampa on December the 6th. It should be a very close race to the finish line, so stay tuned.
I'm going to take Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, 2 home games to come. They are undefeated at Lane Stadium. Virginia, the last time we saw losing to Clemson. North Carolina Boy, they got a big comeback here if they want to stay in the race. So it looks like Virginia Tech in the driver's seat right now. And the Hokies thanking the Yellow Jackets for that marvelous rushing performance on Thursday. Brown, big hole outside to the 50 and chased down out of bounds at the 39 of North Carolina. Deontay Williams finally caught up with the running back, but even though North Carolina State is pounding the ball, you know they're going to run the ball, North Carolina can't stop it.
You know, it's similar to what happened to them last week at Maryland. You know, at some point, your defensive line gets tired of being on the field and seeing running back after running back after running back. Oh, and by the way, your quarterback's playing pretty good too, right?
22 yards on that run. And they're taking their time in the huddle. They're using as much play clock as they can. 1st and 10 at the North Carolina 39-yard line. And why not give it to Brown again, trying to sweep the corner. This is actually Jamel Eugene who has checked in the ball game. And another big run down to about the 26-yard line, and another NC State first down, 13 yards for Jamel Eugene.
And this is where Butch Davis is going to find out about his football team. Regardless of what the score is, you never like to see your team quit. You know, and I'm seeing the emotional level of North Carolina's defense shutting down a little bit. And this is what you learn as a coach, and what you learn about your teammates. What do you do when the times get tough?
Got Jerron James and George Bryan as receivers to the top of your screen. But I don't think we're going to see a pass here. Why not give it to Jamel Eugene, trying to turn it outside left, room to run. He's got the 20, down to the 15-yard line, and another Wolfpack first down. Big block by Anthony Hill as he turned that far left corner. 14 yards on the run.
Great block by Anthony Hill, the 6'6", 265-pound senior, tying up the outside linebacker, running back able to run free.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. And this, you talk about the will that looks like it's broken right now. It's finally happened to the Tar Heels. Andre Brown checks back in at running back. And he's got the football. Andre Brown kicks it outside left. Look at this run. And finally, horse collared out of bounds. Chase Rice in for the injured Mark Pascal makes the tackle. 10 more yards. And depending on, well, if it's 10, it's a first down. It might be a yard shy here. So it looks like they're going to have a 2nd and 1 at the 5-yard line.
You know, we talked about this early being a rivalry game. And, you know, North Carolina State, the proximity to where they are. This is also a recruiting battle. You know, there are kids here at North Carolina visiting to see if they want to come to the University of North Carolina, and they're the same kids at North Carolina State's recruiting. We'll elaborate where both of these teams stand right now in the recruiting process.
Running play, this time Brown tackled at the 10-yard line. And our 1st and 10 line brought to you by SeatExchange.com, the official ticket exchange partner of the ACC. Bernie makes a good stop there for a loss on the play. Finally, a negative play by the NC State offense.
We talked about the recruiting, and according to Rivals.com, who is the guru of recruiting, the University of North Carolina right now ranks 15th with the people they've got committed. On the other side, North Carolina State ranks 57th. You know, there are players at this football game that North Carolina's recruiting that NC State would love to have. Can a game like this make a difference? Yes, it can.
3rd down coming up for the Wolfpack. Wilson's going to scramble himself. The quarterback to the 5. He'll score. Touchdown, Wolfpack. But a flag on the play back at the 11-yard line. Hold everything.
Illegal procedure against the offense. Number 13, he was never set. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Owen Spencer, the wide receiver, who has a touchdown catch in this one.
He's had a great day when he catches the ball, and a horrible day when he drops it, and a horrible day when he commits a penalty like that. That is youth. That's being a sophomore. That's what you learn from.
And you see him on the sideline there, and the coach is saying something to him. Yeah. And
but you know why the coaches aren't panicking?
Well, because they're up
21
point.
Yeah, 21-point lead. Now, if this thing was a 2-point game, Tom O'Brien would be lighting him up.
3rd and 11 from the 15. Wilson quarterback draw. And he's down to the 9-yard line. They'll push him back there, and North Carolina State will send the field goal unit on. So he scrambles for 4. Sturdivant and Burney make the tackle. And as North Carolina, I believe North Carolina's called a timeout. They have. So we do have a timeout on the field, and Tom O'Brien says, okay, let's huddle up here. So we'll see what happens when we come back. 8:44 to go. The Wolfpack by 21 in Chapel Hill. Closed captioning for today's telecast provided by Bojangles. You gotta, wanna, needa, gotta have a Bojangles. Bill Rosinski, Jeff Bostic, and the rest of our Raycom crew watching a field goal attempt as Butch Davis looks on as well. North Carolina State by 21, trying to pad that lead. Flags flying on a 27-yard attempt.
Before the snap, all start, 54 the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Henry Larson with the little illegal procedure.
So this will be a 32-yard field goal. Josh Chakowski. This one's up, and this one is good as well. So the Wolfpack add to the lead, and the fans who made the trip here enjoying this one. And it's now North Carolina State 34, North Carolina 10. Wow. Let's take a look at this week's Chevy Stars. C.J. Spiller had 201 all-purpose yards last week against Duke, including an 83-yard touchdown reception. And NC State quarterback Russell Wilson scored all 3 of the Pack's touchdowns in their win over Wake Forest.
I don't know what C.J. Spiller's doing at Charlottesville, but leave this guy right where he is till next week. Tremendous football game by Russell Wilson.
And here, I want to get back into this Tom O'Brien thing about the rivalry as we take a look at this NC State sideline. Tom O'Brien has a football in his office. It says Navy 11, Army 7 from 1970. That was when he was a senior on the Navy football team that finally beat Army. They beat him when he was a freshman, but freshmen didn't play back then. He was into this rivalry. He knows how important it is to win a game like that. He has built this rivalry against North Carolina into something special with his program. And this could be, and it looks like, he's going to be 2-0 against Butch Davis.
And I'm going to tell you what, this was not a fluke victory. The team that performed the best today, there's no question who that is and why the lead is as large as it is. Has North Carolina helped itself with the turnovers? No. But you don't take anything away from North Carolina State. Their ability to run the football, but more importantly, the performance of their quarterback, Russell Wilson, for a redshirt freshman, has been remarkable.
And there is Russell Wilson, all bundled up now as the sun kind of fades into the clouds here, a little overcast in Chapel Hill.
And the fans that were wearing that Carolina blue have kind of faded to the parking lot.
Yeah, they have. And Cam Sexton has come in at quarterback for North Carolina. But his team is down 24 points. Little pump, looks, fires, that's caught. And this is Little. Little takes it up to about the 33-yard line. They still can't bring him down. And very close to a first down, just shy of the 35. And here's where you've got NC State. They're probably going to be playing a little bit softer defensively. So Sexton's going to come in and probably put up some decent numbers.
How about the Wolfpack cheerleaders running around in the end zone while plays going on? I've never seen that.
Sexton looks and throws, and another catch up at the 50-yard line, and that'll be a first down to Hakeem Nicks.
But the ball is stripped.
Oh, they stripped the ball away, and NC State with their 5th turnover of the game.
You know, football teams work on the strip drill every day. You've seen NC State be successful 3 times this afternoon in stripping the football. Yes, it's a catch. Watch the arm. Watch the arm. Ripped it out right there. Definitely a fumble. Now I wonder if his hand is out of bounds. This may be North Carolina's ball. But if his hand is out of bounds, his body's out of bounds.
And when did the whistle blow? The ball was stripped from Hakeem Nicks. You can see Nicks immediately saying, hey, the play was over. And the play is under review.
Was number 28, Justin Byers, out of bounds? Certainly this is a fumble. Watch the left hand of number 28, Justin Byers.
So another review here in Chapel Hill. Another look at this one.
Let's watch number 28, Justin Byers' hand. Once his hand is out of bounds, his body is out of bounds. Yes, he strips the football. This is a fumble. But when he picks it up, right there, folks, his hand is out of bounds. He still doesn't have possession of the football. Now he does. I think they're going to give the ball back to North Carolina. That would make me 4 for 4. Okay? Not that we're counting. Right there's the strip, and you work on this every day in practice. But it has worked 3 times for North Carolina State this afternoon. Hand out of bounds. No longer able to come back in and touch it.
Or at least be the first man to come in and touch it.
You know what? Somebody must be upstairs talking to the officials going, where do you want to go tonight? What type of dinner? You want steak?
Like, what did you see?
Italian. I mean, why does it take that long? I'm sorry.
Well,
he knows he's on television.
He's on Raycom. I was going to say a little FaceTime, but there's a little back time.
And we would be remiss while we have time.
Yes.
45 years ago in history, John Fitzgerald Kennedy assassinated. One of those events in American history where you never forget where you were. I was a 5-year-old lad about 55 miles from here in Greensboro, North Carolina, playing out in the yard like kids do. And my mom called me in the house and said, "You need to see this." And America never needs to forget that.
No, I've been to Dallas a few times in my travels doing college and NFL football, and have gone to Dealey Plaza a few times and gone to the Texas School Book Depository building. And, watching it, I was in 5th grade, I think, when they told us in school. Here's Tom Zamorski.
After review, there was a fumble. However, the North Carolina State player possessed it while touching the sideline. The ball is therefore out of bounds. North Carolina retains possession.
So one of the few breaks for North Carolina today, as the review, exactly what Jeff talked about, hand on the sideline, out of bounds. You cannot be the first person going out of bounds and coming back in and touching the football. So North Carolina gets a first down, but they still trail, as you can see, 34-10 as we coming up to this midway point of the 4th quarter.
4 for 4.
You are.
I am on today.
Cam Sexton working the Carolina offense. A little pump fake downfield to Nicks. That one's picked off. Dominique Ellis. And more celebrating on the Wolfpack sideline. More disappointment for Butch Davis.
And this was just a bad throw. Cam Sexton, as we said earlier, came into a situation that wasn't good, knowing you got to throw the ball to get back, but just a bad throw. Dominic Ellis, 5'11", 190-pound freshman, easy pick. And then he's telling everybody, what he did. Are you kidding? It was just in your hands. Catch it.
So the Wolfpack, and you can bet these are going to be runs again with 7:44 to go in the 4th quarter. Look at the turnovers in this one. Jamel Eugene turning that near corner. Up across the 40, shy of the first down by a yard to the 41-yard line. He stays in bounds. Clock's going to move.
Two things that stand out to me right now, Bill. This is senior day for the University of North Carolina players. This is not the way you want to end your college career if you're a senior with this 2008 North Carolina football squad.
All right, Moore down on the sidelines to Scott.
You know, we've been talking obviously about what a game Russell Wilson is having. He's, hard to believe that he's a redshirt freshman here and what he's doing on the football field. But you know what? He's a pretty good baseball player too. Played second base last year for the Pack. An excellent hitter. Obviously, he's got speed. He'll play baseball again this year. Many think he has what it takes to leave school early, actually, to play baseball. So if there's one person who maybe wants him off the field right now, say it's the head coach of the NC State baseball team. They want him to remain healthy for the upcoming season.
Yeah, a second baseman, and he hit 296. Not too shabby as Jamel Eugene gets NC State with another first down. And there are his numbers today, coming off his great performance last week against Wake Forest. And there is Mr. Young, who was so dominant in the first half.
Not a bad fisherman either, though, huh?
Season high rushing for NC State today, 159. Today it's 181.
And we knew this coming in. The team that had gained the most yards on the ground in this series had won 15 of the last 16.
Jamel Eugene, they're just pounding the rock, watching the clock tick down. You know, you look at what NC State has accomplished. They were in a lot of ball games this year. They lose to Boston College 38-31. I was in Raleigh when they played Florida State on a Thursday night. They were actually ahead of that game in the second half and lost 26-17. They lose to Maryland by 3. And then all of a sudden they get the bye week. They get people back healthy. Wilson gaining more confidence with this offense. And now they're going to have wins over Duke, Wake Forest, and now other than a bizarre thing happening here, they're going to have won 3 in a row and a game away from becoming bowl eligible. Eugene, nice little cutback move, picks up a block, and finally the Tar Heel defenders chase him down at the 50-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Robert Quinn makes the play.
And what this is more important for, if you're Tom O'Brien and NC State, this is for what you're building for 2009. Hopefully this will increase your ability to get those 3- and 4-star recruits, 5-star recruits, to come to your program, to be a game changer, to be a guy like Russell Wilson. You know, Tom O'Brien shows up in your house, trying to recruit a kid going, why don't you come to NC State? You can play as a freshman. Look, we got a quarterback, redshirt freshman. That's what people want to see. They want to see results, and now they got a 3-game winning streak toward the end of the season.
Brown will counter play, running between the hashes, and it'll be 4th down coming up. NC State will probably punt the ball here. They're about a yard and a half shy of a first down. We're down the 4.5-minute mark to go here in the 4th quarter. NC State has one more game left, home against Miami next week, and you wonder, that'll be an angry Hurricane bunch after the way they were spanked by Georgia Tech. And as you look at the scoreboard, there's a team down in Atlanta that's got to like what they're seeing on the scoreboard here. They needed Georgia Tech, still an outside shot to win the Coastal. But it looks, North Carolina's going to get beat today. Virginia was losing at Clemson. They'll be paying attention to that Virginia Tech game. I mean, this thing, Jeff, is going to go down probably to the last tick of the clock next Saturday.
I think it's Virginia Tech's
I would agree.
division to lose.
Yes,
they've got
agree.
Duke at home and they've got Virginia at home.
I would agree. Now, I believe, did NC State call timeout? Because I don't know why North Carolina would at this point.
Yeah, if you're Butch Davis and staff, you want to get off the field.
Well, we'll pause here in Chapel Hill. All Wolfpack against Butch Davis's Tar Heels. ACC football brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Back in Chapel Hill, North Carolina State will punt, and you can see they've got a 24-point lead over the Tar Heels. Bernie back deep. Here's the kick by Pearson. And Bernie says, I'll call a fair catch. Lets it go at the 15, and that'll take a sideways bounce out of bounds to shy of the 15-yard line. So let's take a look at the playoff scenarios with North Carolina about to lose here. Look at Georgia Tech. They needed North Carolina to lose? Yes. Virginia is trailing right now.
13-3.
13-3 to your Clemson Tigers. So a lot of focus on Virginia Tech. Don't count out the Yellow Jackets. Virginia Tech, of course, they control their own destiny. North Carolina, well, pretty much playing themselves out of it here.
This one seals the deal, doesn't it?
Look at Virginia, what all has to happen there. And I think Al Franken's got to win the runoff in Minnesota as well. Pass incomplete. That's intercepted. Another pick for the Wolfpack. Out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Number 34, Robbie Leonard with the interception. 6 turnovers by Butch Davis's Tar Heels this afternoon.
You cannot blame Cameron Sexton with this ball. It comes right out of his receiver's hands. I learned something this morning. I learned about ABC. Are you talking about that big broadcast network? No. Anybody but Carolina is what NC State and all these other people. Robbie Leonard would have loved to have put that ball in the end zone. Butch Davis is ready to go home.
6 turnovers by North Carolina this afternoon. Season highs today. Jamel Eugene takes the handoff and shy of the goal line. A pat on the helmet from one of the officials. Well, I don't know if you're Butch Davis. What do you burn this video today? Look at the celebration.
Don't look at it tonight. Don't look at it tonight. At least give yourself, 1 or 2 days before you look at this thing.
Robbie Leonard from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. And I believe Robbie was a walk-on. I mean, you have all these great stories about kids who come here with scholarships and are great successes, but how about the walk-ons who become successful starters like Robbie Leonard? And he's got an interception against North Carolina to put on that resume. Quarterback sneaked by Wilson, and he did not get in the end zone.
I'm one of those guys that ultimately believe in sportsmanship and doing what's right. This is where, if I were coaching, I would take a knee 2 more times, turn the ball back over to North Carolina, and just let the clock run. Tom O'Brien and NC State needs to make no more points. They've dominated this game. They've controlled the turnover battle 6-9. Their quarterback's been phenomenal. Go home and get ready for your last game.
I formation, 3rd and goal. Jamel Eugene's going to take it into the end zone easily. Another touchdown for the Wolfpack, and the celebration on in the far corner as we look at the Wolfpack fans who made the trek, a short trek from Raleigh, North Carolina and the surrounding area. The high fives all around. A dominating performance by the Wolfpack, and they're up by 30.
I'm sure Tom O'Brien and all of his staff and all of these North Carolina State Wolfpack players had high expectations coming into this day's game. They never would have thunk this.
And the extra point is good. At some point, and you can see these North Carolina fans, it's not a good Saturday in Chapel Hill. Timeout on the field with 2:05 to go. There's the man of the hour, Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Wolfpack. Career high 279 passing yards today against the Tar Heels. Short kick, and this is Rome on the return for North Carolina to the 40-yard line.
No question what the biggest factor in the outcome of this game was today. North Carolina and the games that they have won, a +16 on the turnover margin. This afternoon, -6 in one game. Yes, -6. What does that spell? How about with 1:58 to go, a 41-10 NC State lead?
It spells LOSS.
It also spells UGLY.
Ryan Houston takes the handoff, and North Carolina will be content, I guess, here to just get out of here, run some plays, and head to the locker room. They have one more game left at Duke. And Tom O'Brien a step away now from becoming bowl eligible. He needs one more.
Is that actually Tom O'Brien
I was gonna
smiling?
say,
I didn't think
smiling?
he ever smiles. He ought to be proud of his football team, proud of his coaching staff, and proud of himself. Came in here where North Carolina had a lot to play for with a young quarterback. And let me say this. You can't say enough adjectives about Russell Wilson. This kid has been phenomenal this afternoon.
Sexton wants to throw, a little dump off to Rome. Rome will pull his way forward, finally step out of bounds at the 49-yard line, a yard shy of a first down. Rome looks a little incensed here, but it's all NC State. Here's the final now. Charlottesville, Clemson with the win, 13-3. So we showed you those scenarios, tiebreakers for winning the Coastal Division. And Georgia Tech tucked away at 5-3. They're done in conference play. They've got Georgia next week. Still with a shot. Flag on the play, and somebody moved before the snap. And Clemson is now on a 3-game winning streak. Hubba hubba.
I'm not going to comment. You know,
Ball start against the offense. 5-yard penalty.
you remember that
Please
little.
reset the game clock to 1 minute and 3 seconds.
You remember that little story in Bambi when Thumper's mama says, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Hey, I said they won.
I'll talk to you on the way to the
3 in a
airport.
row.
I'll talk to you on the way to the airport. I'm not going there.
You want to coach there?
I'm not going there.
No?
I'm not going there. Bright lights and small shoes couldn't drag this out of me.
And look who's still basking in the glory of his interception. You know you're winning when you can talk to a female on the sidelines at a college football game. Sexton, that's a lateral far side of the field and up to about the 45, 46-yard line. Short gain on the play. I better watch out, make sure there's no angry stuff here. Tom O'Brien even out on the field. Here's our Alltel wireless players of the game. A no-brainer there for Russell Wilson. And Mark Pascal, before he got hurt, was a one-man show on defense for the Tar Heels.
How about player of the week? Russell Wilson, ACC player of the week. That's my prediction. That'll make me 5 for 5.
19 seconds to go, little dump off, and there it is. That should be the final play of this football game. And by the way, for Lonnie Dale, our director, and Bev Rumley, our producer today, and for Jeff and me and all our staff here, we'd like to wish all our viewers a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving holiday coming up. And here we go. They're going to count off the final 16 seconds of this one.
And these are a sweet 16 seconds for the NC State faithful, believe me. Tom O'Brien made it a point during our phone conference telling us that nobody on his football squad before last year had ever beaten a North Carolina team. Well, now they're about to make it back-to-back.
Russell Wilson, the last play of this one, takes a knee. And the redshirt freshman from Richmond, Virginia, guides his team to their 3rd consecutive win. Tom O'Brien and Butch Davis will shake hands. Short and sweet was that conversation. And a big win for NC State over North Carolina. And the Wolfpack still with a chance to be bowl eligible after this 31-point win today.
ACC football has been brought to you by Geico, by Advance Auto Parts, by Ruby Tuesday, and by Chevrolet.
There's our final. North Carolina State 41, North Carolina 10. As you take a look at the faithful for the Wolfpack who made the short trip here and enjoying the celebration, the playing of the alma mater, and a big win for the Wolfpack. Earlier, right as they ended this football game, Scott had a chance to talk with winning coach Tom O'Brien.
Coach O'Brien, what did you see from your club this week that you knew they were going to play this well?
We've been playing like this for the last 2 weeks. We've gotten better since the open week. We got some guys healthy and back, and these kids have been playing hard, so this is not surprising at all.
Russell Wilson, what can you say about the way he just engineered your offense here today?
Well, he does a fabulous job. He's done a great job this year. There's still things that he's a little frustrated with, but he certainly makes plays, and we're happy he's our quarterback.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the win.
Thank you very much.
And now let's go down. Scott has just grabbed Russell Wilson, so let's listen in. Scott?
Russell, offense able to do what you did here?
We just stick together, play hard. Coach O'Brien does a great job of keeping us going. And I got to credit the defense. For defense, played unbelievable. You know, they made turnovers, made a lot of turnovers, and gave us a chance.
You guys have really been on a roll. How well is this team playing right now?
We're playing real well, but we got a lot of work to do. We got to get better. Got a big game next week against a good team, so we just got to come out and play hard and practice hard.
Go enjoy this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, that's Russell Wilson. Huge game for that quarterback today. NC State celebrating as they defeat North Carolina for the second straight time. Back with more after this local break.
There's your final, NC State over North Carolina, and the standings now in the Coastal Division based on this score and Clemson's win today over Virginia. Georgia Tech done. Miami, Virginia Tech in the driver's seat right now. There, of course, is Maryland on top of the Atlantic, and Ralph Friedgen's team controls their own destiny at this point with still this afternoon and another week to go. Next week, we will be somewhere at noon. We'll try to figure out where after this weekend's games. What a wild and woolly finish this afternoon. Jeff, 10 seconds, what'd you think?
Very impressed with Tom O'Brien's preparation of his football team and his young quarterback. Great job by the Wolfpack.
You've been watching exclusive coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on Raycom Sports.